2 seconds. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to day 9 of LAS. I'm Seth, joined here by KJ Freedom from Sidestorm Gaming, handling our production. How are you, KJ? Yep, and again, you guys are watching LAS. Stands for League Angkop Series. This is our Angkop fundraiser by way of an esports tournament with League of Legends. Funds are generated all through viewership. With the help of our viewers, I'm proud to say that we met our fundraising goal in the month of July. And I want to thank our service team. We have Kilaim, Gabidente, and Trillion. Thanks to all of our players among the 4 teams we have, taking time out of their busy schedule to be part of our fundraiser. And I'd like to welcome our casters tonight. First off, we have our LAS commissioner himself and member of Team Joe Mama. We have Kilaim. And also joining us here as well is Kilaim's team captain, Waka Waka. How are you guys doing?
We are doing great. Glad to be
absolutely
back for another exciting matchup tonight.
How are you, Waka Waka?
I'm doing good, Seth. How are you?
Too bad, not too bad. And so last night's game was really exciting. I'm glad that Team Joma Mama pulled through in that game 3. I really hate to see a 3-0, and I'm glad that you guys kind of in a unorthodox build there. People were wondering, what's going on? They changed up a lot of stuff, and you guys, made it happen. What was going on behind the scenes there?
I think, our team is just really good at adapting to certain situations on the fly. When, me playing bot lane didn't really work, we just thought, hey, maybe if I go rumble in the jungle, something magic would happen, and something did. So I'm just really glad that in the end, we're not just getting 3-0'd and just taking it lying down.
I think Waka Waka is being a little too modest here. Him and Nelio are really, I like to refer to them as Swiss Army knives, really be able to, whatever we need, they can fill in. And as you can see from Waka Waka's jungling and Nelio taking off at ADC, we can really place them anywhere and find success.
Yeah, it was really entertaining. The first 2 games, I think game 2 was a runaway, but I was really excited how game 3 turned out. But tonight, we have a pretty cool matchup. Team Rocket versus Charlie and the Pentakill Factory. I'd like to have, if we could do a pregame interview with any one of them. But in the meantime, if we can bring up the standings and see where they stand right now for production to put it together. There you go. So we have Team Rocket. I believe it's 5-4 or 4-5. I'm not exactly sure because there's a discrepancy in the team graphic there. But regardless, they are currently in 3rd place, and they're facing CATPKF, who's it's in the bottom right now. I think it's because due to that 0-3 result from last week. But after talking to them, they're ready for tonight. They're ready to climb back in and jockey for position. What do you guys think of the matchup tonight? Waka Waka, let's start with you.
I think it's definitely going to be a very spicy 3 games. I'm sure Charlie and the Pentakill Factory, after taking 3 losses last week, is definitely back and fired up for this week. And I just played with Team Rocket earlier today, and they seem to have some hidden strategies up their sleeves. So I'm very excited to see what they have and how they can execute these strategies.
Yeah. What about you, Keelan? What do you think of CATPKF's chances tonight?
I think they have a really strong chance. Last week may have been an 0-3 for them, but as I've said many times, this team is resilient. This team can adapt, and I'm sure they'll find a way to find some wins tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the result of this. So again, this is our LAS fundraiser. And if you guys have not already done so, click on that login or /sign up, register for an account. that way. You can interact with the chat there, and just make sure that you adhere to the rules and policies of the chat. Otherwise, our mods Trillian and Gabidenti will be all over that. And also follow the channel. Click on that follow button in the bottom. That also helps the stream and gives you notification whenever we get on stream. So sometimes you forget that it's Tuesday night and it's 7 p.m. and you get a notification. Hey, look, jump on the stream. Support this for a good cause. This is our UNCUP fundraiser, and we really appreciate it. So welcome again, everybody, and I think we have started our bans and picks here, and I'm gonna throw it to you both to talk about this in more detail while I listen intently, because every time I listen to you guys or all the casters, I learn a lot more about League of Legends, right? So I'm trying to level up for my newbie status. But from there, take it away, casters.
All right, and as we're going into picks and bans, we're going to go ahead and pull Shorty, the jungler for Team Charlie in the Pentakill Factory. Hi, Shorty.
Oh, right up.
Shorty, so thanks for joining us tonight. What are your expectations of tonight's matchup between you all and the Team Rocket?
I think it's going to be an interesting one because last time we went against them, I think the record was 2-1, and it's gonna be very different this time because today they have their mid laner, TYKP Kim Pasqua, and I think it's gonna make it a lot more different than it was last time. But we don't know, so hoping for the best. All we want to do is just have fun, and we just gotta remember that it's for a good cause.
Exactly. And so with Cucumber's kind of addition to their team, you guys have any strategies on how to minimize his impact?
As of right now, I don't think he's our main threat. We feel that the top lane and bottom lane is what we're gonna focus on. But we'll see after this first game to see if we need to change anything up. But yeah.
All right, and Joe, do you have any questions for Shorty?
Yeah, so you said that you're focusing top lane and bot lane. Do you, can we pick your mind at exactly how you guys plan on doing that? Is it through jungle pressure, through mid lane pressure, or just through overall easy, player difference?
I think it's just all gonna depend on how the game starts. Seeing who or which lane we can apply the most pressure to early on, and we're just gonna build off of that.
Good answer. You are live, so you don't want to be revealing too many secrets. But
okay.
Shorty, thank you so much. Good luck on your game.
Yep, thank you.
All right. And so next up, we're going to be pulling Manny Meta Awesome, the support for Team Rocket. And we're gonna pull him in now. I wish there was a way we could let him know, but hi, Manny. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, hello. Oh, wow. Okay, I was doing my runs. What's up?
Sorry about that. We just kind of threw you in here.
Right. Ooh. Yeah.
So Manny, having been a player of the night before, we've seen that you can make a lot of impact throughout the game. What's your strategy going into tonight's matchup against Charlie in the Pentakill Factory?
Can I just say have fun?
Absolutely.
If that's what you're aiming for,
Yeah, I guess because now it's been full games. Now we're having a rematch game with these guys. So now it's just we're getting used to everything now, and we're just here to see how it plays out now. Seeing where these few weeks, just some of us meeting each other for the first time, some of us not, and now here we are, here to fight these goons once again, seeing how we fare.
All right. Yeah, winning to have fun, or winning is fun, having fun to win. Chicken before the egg. We'll see how that plays out. Manny, thanks for joining us. Have a good game.
Yeah.
Good luck.
All right. So, again, thank you everyone for joining us today. The picks and bans have been set, as you can see from the screen. Joe, what do we have for tonight?
Well, looking on Team Rocket, they have Team Charlie and the Pentacle Factory. They have the classic Shen ban. But notes to take is the Ezreal and the Master Yi in the first rotation, pinching off Naoshi's Champ Pool and CeeLo B. But it's kind of interesting to note that they banned the Ezreal because CeeLo B has been known for playing a multitude of AD carries. And the last time he played, he carried really hard 2 games in a row on that Tristana. So it just seems like, Charlie and the Pentakill Factory either a little disrespectful or maybe just think that, Tristana's the lesser of the 2 evils. And on the side of Team Rocket, the classic Ari bans, LeBlanc, Mordekaiser. It's just the 3 trifectas that you always have to ban against Charlie's team, it seems like.
Yeah, those are definitely must bans. And part of me is thinking they saw last night's game and saw how effective Ezreal could be. So, I hate to bring up that trauma, but...
Yeah, yesterday in the bot lane, it was not fun, especially with someone with such good accuracy as a Filipino bro. But, not this game. Not this game.
Yep. And we can see that Alistar being picked by Meta Awesome. Looks like they might be taking notes from yesterday's game with Park Jisoo and that masterful game of Alistar, which was a big problem. We haven't been seeing a lot of Alistars throughout our games in the league. So always nice to see people shake things up with these new picks.
Yeah, and Alistar is a huge playmaker. His headbutt pulverize combo, game-changing if you get that multi-man stun, especially with someone who can follow up from such long range like Ziggs, with his Q, his E, and his ultimate. They're all huge range, massive damage. And then, it just seems like the game plan is Alistar goes in, Jax goes in, Ziggs providing backline support, and then Tristana with the cleanup. And then that Garen for Hercules, something we haven't really touched up on, just seems like more of a split push, just in case to go against Jolly Boy's Irelia. Mm-hmm. So what do you think about Charlie and the Pentakill Factory's team comp?
It's looking like a pretty similar team comp. We have Irelia and Shyvana that have the ability to jump in on the carries over on the side of Team Rocket. Nautilus providing that tankiness and ability to peel for their own carries. Syndra being able to put some damage out in the back line, and Vayne. I think Vayne is going to be a big factor in Pentakill Factory's game tonight.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And with that, I believe we are loading onto the Rift.
We might have ourselves that spectator delay, or was that the spectator delay?
I think that was the spectator delay.
Oh, great. So as we load into the Rift here, Waka Waka, who's your pick to ultimately take this first game?
Honestly, the team comps to me are pretty evenly matched. I think this is all based on execution. However, I do favor Team Rocket's team comp just a little bit more because Alistar isn't very ulti reliant on that EQ combo. His ulti is just more for I don't die, and then the Ziggs with the nukes and everything. I think Team Rocket's comp is just a little bit easier to execute.
I totally understand there. Alistar, it's almost like having a Malphite ult every 6-7 seconds. It's nuts.
And we are on the Rift. It looks like both teams pinging mid lane. Team Rocket heading down in an ARAM sort of way as we have a pause immediately.
Immediate pause here. And looks like there's some lagging from one of the folks here. It's funny that you'll see that in their chat saying, I'm lagging. So as opposed to, I'm Filipino, bro, had mouse problems, and we don't know whether it's actually mouse problems or lagging. But I tend to say something along the lines of, I'm having mouse problems, or
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
I need to go to the bathroom or something. But so
yeah,
hopefully, oh, go ahead.
Oh, and I was gonna say in this pause, I was gonna kind of mention Syndra being played by Chale. Not something we've seen him play. He usually goes for that AP assassin rather than an AP, just a control mage. So we gotta see if he can still make those roaming plays that he's been known so well for, while on a mage, basically.
And if you're Chale, do you have any preference in whether you're ganking bot or top, or is that kind of just wherever the waves land and what's going to be the best position for him to find that gank?
I think what we haven't seen from most teams is the coordination of wave management. Like, so, if I'm mid and I push out my lanes, you just look while your lanes are pushed, which lane it is better to gank. So basically, if bot lane is pushed for the other team, then you usually head bot. If top lane is pushed, then you usually head top. But like, if you can set that up and say, hey, I'm gonna push my lane in 10 to 15 seconds, I'm gonna roam bot lane. So your bot will know, okay, we're not gonna shove, we're just gonna let the lane push to us to set up for that gank. And it's even better if you can call a jungler for a 4-man dive. So I think, long answer short, whichever lane is pushing.
All right. And so here we are set into the game 1, and we'll have both teams avoiding each other in hopes of finding an invade here. And I'm sure soon enough they'll realize that they're in each other's jungles, and we might find ourselves an early team fight here.
Yeah, like passing like ships in the night. But it looks like both teams are just trouncing around in the bushes, not really doing much. Who do you think is better level 1? These two teams both have kind of decent level 1s.
I'd have to say the Pentakill Factory, just because of that Nautilus. Alistar doesn't quite have his combo yet, and unless Nayoshi takes his stun, I don't see a lot of potential for Team Rocket winning this level 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like they spot out the Ziggs on that ward and the Pixel Brush.
And we'll have a quick 2v3 down bot lane, and a great hook from Neozone. Forces the flash out of Meta Awesome.
Yeah, and that's a great level 1 start. The Alistar without flash is a lot less intimidating because he can usually forego his knockback and just flash Q you and then knock you back with his W. So that can't work anymore, and there's no Hex Flash on Meta Awesome, so that's not something you really need to look for anymore.
Yeah, and any of these early leads against a tank support is just so helpful, because it's so hard to play from behind when fighting against a tanky support like Alistar. So I think that's pretty big for the Pentakill Factory, and even bigger if Shorty comes along in the next 3 minutes to take advantage of that.
Absolutely. And we see that junglers are both making their ways towards the top lane. Both equal in farm. Shyvana versus Jax, not something that we usually see. Both kind of off-meta picks. But let's see how they fare in their ganks. As we see a kind of a CS discrepancy in the top lane, actually the biggest one, with Irelia kind of trouncing the Garen, pushing him in.
Yep, that Irelia's mobility is pretty dangerous in the beginning, especially while Kirk doesn't have his execution ult. Oh, and here we have Nayoshi ganking, and that's a great flash by Jolly Boy to avoid that depth. And on to building on his lead for Jolly Boy's Irelia.
Yeah, and now that the flash is blown, he's got to play a little bit more respectful. Can't really go in for these. Oh, as I say that, he goes immediately in for a trade.
And we'll see the Jacks coming up.
Another
Noting that there's no flash available, stunned by Jax, and I think Jolly Boy might be going down with the first blood going over to Hercules and Team Rocket.
This first blood, not very respecting the Jax, still in the area. Usually what happens is, if you get ganked once, you kind of back off, make sure Jax is seen in another area before you start playing aggressive again, or at least put down your Trinket, right? But I think Trinket might have been, no, he does have one Trinket hold, so kind of a mistake by Jolly Boy that costs first blood.
I think it, just a little bit of excitement into keep building on that CS lead. You saw it was a pretty hefty lead so early on, but now it's about tied with a kill going over to that Garen, and we'll see the Jacks remain up on that top side. I wonder if that's a focus to really deny Jolly Boy. Here we see Jolly Boy going back in, and Hercules being able to punish him with spinning to winning.
Spinning to winning. That's what Garens are known for, the Garens and Darius. As we see, he continues to play aggressive, although now it seems like Garen is winning these trades, which is kind of a scary thought because Irelia has backed, albeit by death, so he does get one buy off, but Garen's still sitting on that Doran's shield, able to just sustain and just farm. So now we see that CS discrepancy that we saw before just completely disappear.
Yeah, and I wonder what it'll look like when he actually has the items.
Yeah, and how is Garen gonna itemize in this matchup? Because we've seen, or at least I've seen, Garen's go tanky, or like Bruiser with the Stride Breaker. We've even seen Garen with.
We'll see Charlie making his way bot lane. Doesn't quite get the stun off, and Mother Duck actually condemns Alistar to safety.
Yeah, a little off on the timing there for the Syndra stun. Also a little off on the timing for the Alistar flash.
Here, Charlie's caught in a rock and a hard place between Cucumber and Nayoshi's Jax. Gonna get away, but lots of fighting all around the map with Hercules and Jolly Boy going at it. Hercules able to take him down without any items except the Doran shield right now. So what
really
a
strong showing. Yeah, very strong showing there.
That early gank for Nayoshi's looks like it's going to be paying off throughout this game.
Yeah, and Garen ulti, it does true damage based on missing health, so it's basically an execute. So the lower you are, the more dangerous you're in. Jolly Boy just not familiar with the matchup or just not respecting the Garen.
Yeah, and one thing to note here is this CS discrepancy between CeeLo B and his Tristana versus Mother Duck's Vayne here. Almost 30 farm ahead with just 8 minutes into, or 7.5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, so this matchup is kind of rough for the Vayne. Tristana with her passive is able to push relentlessly, as we see Charlie going quite low. Probably has to back or risk getting killed by Ziggs. One of those bombs can just blow you up instantaneously.
Yeah, that was a dangerously low health bar from Chale there. So good decision on having to go back there.
Yeah, and actually we see Jax with Ghost rather than Flash. I don't think we've ever seen him use it yet, but as we say that, Shorty coming up top for a gank on Hercules. Going for the ulti, and that is that's a power of an AP Shyvana. It's able to blow up Garen instantaneously.
Yep, able to kill him right before He takes down Jolly Boy with him. That was a huge gank by Shorty.
Yeah, and we see that Team Rocket answering on the bot side because, you know, Shorty has shown on top side. It's a really good play. It kind of builds out your Irelia from this losing matchup, as we see Jolly Boy taking a turret shot there. But yeah, it's basically a trade of objectives. Dragon for Rift. So fight.
And we see Nayoshi here getting caught out. So they take the Rift Herald and lose the Dragon, but take Nayoshi down with them. So
yeah, and that was a really good stun. Charlie definitely learned from last time, getting that stun off. And basically, once you get that stun off, the Jax is kind of dead. Now, he is level 6, but that ulti is only going to give you a certain amount of resistances against 4 people. So yeah, like the CS discrepancy bot lane is actually becoming a little smaller. As I was saying before, this action, Tristana with her passive on her E, just able to relentlessly push in the Vayne. Vayne, known for her late game, as we see another fight going up. Hercules flash, but gets
huge
caught
damage
by
from Shorty.
Yeah, Shorty's Shyvana is very strong. He knows the numbers on this champion, as we see the Jax trying to bail out the on the top lane 1v3 trying to get Shorty, but just unable to clinch it. And Syndra, you know, with that
LA with the fade away.
point and click ulti, completely just outplays Nayoshi.
Knocks down the Jax and walks away from the explosion.
Very clean. And that was definitely a joke when I say that it's an outplay, because it's just a joke in the League community, because Syndra's ulti is a point and click, completely not outplayable. So yeah, it's not something you can outplay. If you guys play League at home and you see Syndra ulting you, please don't flash. Please don't, you know, waste that. As we see a 1v1 fight, Cucumber with the flash and the barrier. Charlie follows and just an auto to finish it off. So yeah, Charlie 3-0 now on the Syndra, poised to take over the game, like many of the games that he's played previously.
And as we can see, with Charlie back into his natural habitat of the mid lane, successful just 12 minutes in, already having gone bot side, top side, and getting kills in his own lane. Right where he needs to be.
Yeah, and Charlie's roams have been very clean. He actually pushes out the wave so that when he roams, he doesn't really lose out on minions. And that's something that's kind of part of a wave management that perhaps lower level players aren't as familiar with.
That's me.
So don't sell yourself short, man. I guess that's why we put you in the jungle, right?
Yeah. No waves to manage there.
Jokes, of course, as we see Charlie going bot, but now coming back top, and another play. Ooh,
getting aggressive again. Charlie deletes Cucumber in less than a minute's time. That's 2 times now. And we've got a pause here.
A summoner has disconnected.
Maybe you know, that last kill was attributed to lag, but how do you play, like, Keith, let me just ask you, how do you play this lane if you're at Ziggs, right? Like, how do you play against Syndra?
You gotta do it as best as you can close to the tower. It's a tough. Yeah, I know that could be tough, but you're gonna have to get some help from your other lanes there. Okay.
I mean, to me, I think between these two control mages, it's a game of chicken, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's basically, can Syndra hit the stun before I completely burst her out as Ziggs? Obviously, it's going to be a little hard when this Syndra's 4-0 and up a whole mythic on you.
Yeah, no items over on the Ziggs.
Yeah, I mean, they have equal tier. However, it's a whole completed mythic as opposed to just a basically a book, a lost chapter. on the Ziggs side, so the power is definitely not there for the Ziggs. However, Syndra Qs are more telegraphed, so they're a little more reactionable, as opposed to Ziggs has a longer range. So I think you're completely right. You can definitely sit on the tower and just chuck those bombs, make it so that the Syndra versus Ziggs lane just turns into a farm lane. Just relentlessly push the lane over and over again, make sure the Syndra can't roam, and just dodge the stun.
Now,
Because
I'm not as familiar with Syndra, so do her abilities have the same range as Ziggs' bombs?
I'm also not quite sure because I don't play Syndra or Ziggs, but you've seen Ziggs bombs, right? Like they can bounce, which extends their range, as long as they don't hit any, champions, minions, or anything else. But Syndra's stun is pretty long ranged, so I would say Syndra's stun is almost equal to not a max ranged Ziggs Q, but it's pretty close. So you still really have to watch out for those Syndra stuns.
Yeah, and once you get caught in that Syndra stun, you can pretty much bet your money that you're going to be sent back to the fountain, especially with Chale being 4-0 with his Luden's Echo. Is this still called Luden's Echo or Luden's Tempest?
I believe it's Luden's Echo. Luden's Tempest is the... Oh no, it's Luden's Tempest. You're right.
Yeah.
It's Luden's Tempest now.
So if any of our viewers have any experience playing Syndra or versus a Ziggs, or have any thoughts on that matchup, please comment.
Yeah,
and help your casters out.
Yeah, we really aren't sure about the range, so please let us know as we get back into the action.
Getting back into the action here, we'll have a 1,400 gold lead over to the side of the Pentakill Factory, with the Rift Herald being summoned on the top side. And they're really focusing on Hercules here. After that 2-0 start, they want to make sure that he's not going to snowball for the end of the game. And Nayoshi comes in, gets the sun off on Irelia, and Hercules jumps in but gets them decimated in quick fashion there.
Very odd there. He was honestly standing on that giant Shyvana puddle. I don't know the name. I just know that if you build AP Shyvana, that thing does a whole lot of damage. And it does even a lot of damage as you stand in it. The damage over time scales off of AP. So AP Shyvanas, they have the burst, and if you are standing inside the puddle, it's gonna do even more damage.
And we see Charlie up here staying to harass the Nayoshi's Jax, just waiting for the wave there, and quite easily takes him down. And this is gonna be the first tower going to Charlie and the Pentakill Factory, bringing their lead up to almost 3k. Oh, that is 3k gold.
3k gold, yeah, 3k gold lead at 13.5 minutes.
That's a sizable lead there.
Yeah, and let's see if Charlie and the Pentakill Factory can keep the tempo going.
Yeah, but we've seen this before. Oh, and we'll see. It looks like CeeLo B was trying to get that tower there, but Mother Duck made sure to keep him away. And as I was saying, we've seen this before, where CeeLo B kind of plays a not so aggressive bot lane, especially in the laning phase, and really starts to take off after he gets that solid CS lead.
Yeah,
see Neo Zone with the ult there, but not quite able to follow up.
Shorty coming down to the bot lane. There's Jax and Alistar there. As Alistar plays the cowbells, a little entertainment for our viewers. And we see in the mid lane, Jax coming in for a gank, but doesn't really it kind of fizzles out, Dragon is up, so both teams are contesting for vision here. See Hercules clearing out some vision top lane. And Hercules actually has TP advantage. I'm not sure if the teams have really communicated that out, but bot lane, tier 1 has been taken off. Chale, another great stun into just one shot.
Wow.
Kimber just not having a good time in his mid lane with Chale.
Nayoshi being able to follow up here. We'll see if he can get that trade kill over to Chale.
He's going for it,
and he's
got it.
gets it, but loses his life along the way. Shorty still up and at the dragon immediately after Jax goes down.
And it looks to be a free dragon. Yeah, and I think Team Rocket is just conceding because Naoshi just went ham in the mid lane. I'm not sure if that was worth it. I mean, you do get a lot of gold from that shutdown. You can see the 1v1 from Jolly Boy and Hercules. Oh, he hits the stun, and that is it. If Aurelia hits that stun on you with the ulti and her passive completely stacked, you cannot fight that, even if you are as tanky as a Garen. But all you have is Strybreaker. You don't even have the well, interestingly, he went for Merc-Tres instead of Steel Caps, but yeah, you don't have those Steel Caps to really stop some of that damage from Irelia.
Looks like he wants to counteract that damage coming from the Syndra and Shorty Shyvana, AP Shyvana. Looks like we got a fight with CeeLo B chasing Shorty with the Jax close behind. Not quite able to follow up, so they're going to take his jungle instead.
Yeah, and usually we see Shyvana's take Smite with something like an Exhaust or Ignite, just to play it more aggressive, because once you're level 6 you do have that like pseudo flash, but we see here that this time taking flash does help out Shorty so that he is able to live the team. And here we see Team Rocket just taking the Rift Herald. They chunked out the jungler. Jungler has to go back. It's a free objective. Very clean. Hercules doesn't need to TP or anything. Both top laners have TP, but we see Jolly Boy has roamed up kind of for no reason, I think. At this point, I feel like Irelia should be matching the Garen, and Charlie and the Pentakill Factories' bot lane should be matching the Team Rocket bot lane. But we see, I think, a gank coming up in the top lane. Good flash. But there's that ulti, that completely undodgeable ulti. Well played.
And Alistar joins the party there with that combo, and Chale is caught out. That's going to be a 2 kills to the side of Team Rocket.
Yeah, a great collapse by Team Rocket. Just not really knowing where everyone was for trying to go back. It should have been called out that Garen's heading top, Alistar's heading top, Jax is missing their jungle. So a little overextended, but it just seems like they really want to shut down COB, which is, in my opinion, understandable, but yeah, a really good idea. But you know, their bot lane's still pushing, they're getting free damage, but the Rift Herald is summoned top lane, they lose 2 turrets for one.
They're doing a lot of work with that, and the gold lead is it's right around 500 now, so really good spot for Team Rocket.
Yeah, and honestly, Syndra, in my opinion, doesn't scale that well, just because her ulti is single target, so you can definitely blast the Ziggs, blast the Tristana, even the Jax if you wanted to. But in the end, that's really all you have. Like, you have to wait for your cooldowns to come back up before you're remotely useful in that. So we see that he went for the Luden's Tempest, which gives him penetration rather than cooldown. So just something to look out for the longer this game drags out.
And Chale might have been saved by the Alistar headbutt there.
Here comes,
and
oh my goodness.
Spoke too soon. He gets rocked by the Cucumber's Zig ult right there.
Yeah,
from downtown.
And it just seems like this game is slowly, like, you know, getting out of hand for Charlie and the Pentakill Factory. Their top lane's in shambles, their map control, as you can see, it's just red wards littered all around. It's that line basically of red wards. From top lane extending all the way towards the dragon pit. And that's basically, yeah, that's really all vision that Team Rocket has that Charlie and Pentakill Factory does not.
It seems that way, and Meta Awesome making his way to the dragon to clear even more of those up. as they set their sights on this Drake, being the Cloud Drake, coming up in about 15 seconds here.
Yeah, and I do like both teams are, I guess, prioritizing Drakes. But honestly, I don't think this game is going to get to Seoul. So I really want to see, you know, Jolly Boy taking this time to really shove in that top, as we see here.
A bit late for Shorty to jump. Neo Zone sending his hook, and there's so much going on here.
Shorty jumps in and just gets absolutely bombed by Ziggs, and we see Vayne dueling the Alistar. Both team flashes, and both top
Great double stun stunned by Jax. They take down the Vayne, the Nautilus, and Irelia shortly after, and a huge triple kill for Nayoshi there.
Yeah, both top laners TPing into the fight, or I think Hercules may have blocked, but Irelia TPing in. There was a lot of low health bars. I believe Nayoshi, CeeLo B, Meta Awesome, these guys were like very low, 200 or less HP. And I think that just comes down to execution, right? If you guys put all your damage, focus all your damage on the one person, I'm sure you would have gotten, you know, 1 kill, 2 kills, and that fight would have been a little salvageable. But as we just saw, team fights a little messy, with Shoi going in a little too hard.
And a little too late there.
Yeah, a little too late. I think at that time you kind of call whether or not you want to go for the dragon or go for the fight, right? Because at time to jump, when you jump in, it's kind of awkward. Your team isn't really in a position to follow up. And we see, you know, Chale was on one side, and their bot lane with Vayne and Nautilus on the other side, and then kind of Shorty jumping in from the back of the dragon pit. Not very coordinated by the side of Charlie and Pentacle Factory.
Yeah, Snap, Crackle, Pow had it right. That was an entire clown fiesta there. I'm really surprised to see that they didn't take more there. It looks like they put some damage into that second tier mid turret, but didn't quite get it. Makes you think whether or not Baron would have been the better choice there.
Yeah, especially with the Tristana, but it looks like, you know, CeeLo B only has the Kraken Slayer. And with all the low health bars, I don't really blame them for not going for Baron. Baron is kind of a do or die objective for a lot of our teams, where, you know, if you misplay that, you kind of throw the whole game. So I don't really blame them for not going for Baron. The safer pick is the mid lane tier 2 tower.
True that.
And we see, let's take stock of the itemizations. We have full mythics on everyone on Team Rocket, and on the other side we have all mythics except for Shorty Shyvana, who decided to go for that Nashor's Tooth first item. I believe that is what you go first item on an AB Shyvana. So looks like in terms of itemization, they're still pretty much dead even. You know, top laners 2 items each. There is a little lead for the Jax with the 2 items. Mid lane is essentially the same, you know. Cucumber got bullied early, but came back with those kills and is dead even on CS.
Jolly Boy finds himself fighting against Meta Awesome here. Meta Awesome have nobody to follow up. Oh, there's Hercules and Nayoshi, able to let the ignite on Jolly Boy and take the kill with those last few ticks there. Nayoshi getting aggressive with Charlie, jumps on him, and Hercules takes the kill.
Yeah, and not really what you want to do there, as Irelia blowing your ulti on one person, and that person being an Alistar.
Yep, that was just a great response by Team Rocket. Nayoshi and Hercules were there really quickly, and they make their way to Baron with 2 down on the side of the Pentakill Factory.
I think this is just a free Baron. The factory's not even reacting. It's just a free Baron. Charlie push. And it looks like Dragon is almost up in about 30 seconds. This is only the second Dragon for Charlie in the Pensacola Factory, so it's not really all that important. It's not like it's sold. Plus, it's only a Cloud Drake, so, you know, the Dragon RNG God is not in our favor. This was something like an Infernal Soul. You know, this is definitely contestable, but honestly, for Charlie and Pensacola Factory, I say you just kind of give that up and just keep farming and hope that your Vayne can get to a point where she can just 1v9 the game.
We'll see CeeLo B and Meta Awesome getting started on the Dragon here with 3 on the side of the Pensacola Factory already there. But Nayoshi joins them shortly.
Shorty has to go in here.
Meta Awesome going into the middle of 4 and flashes out for safety there. Didn't quite know that there were so many of the Pensacola Factory on the other side of that wall.
Yeah, and I think all he was trying to do there was just make sure Shorty doesn't get into the pit. Puts that ward down, he sees him, headbutt him away, and just flashes back. Smooth. Very smooth. Yeah, this is kind of just the final death knell here. With Baron up minions, 3 Drakes, and a 6.5k gold lead.
But where there's a will, there's a way. We have Charlie, who's still pretty strong. If maybe he can pick out some of these the squishier carries in precarious positions, maybe we'll find a way for them to turn this around. And so Shorty
Absolutely.
looking to flank here, clearing that vision, that ward that spotted him. And they're gonna make an attempt here. And he jumps in onto Nayoshi, not quite the target you want, forcing Charlie to Zonia's Hourglass. He is down, and that's most of the damage for the Pensacola Factory. And Team Rocket still stands here.
A very good fight from Team Rocket. So, I mean, everyone just kind of did their job. You know, Ziggs and Tristana stood back to output the damage. Alistar in the front line tanking, and Jax providing the... he's more of a CC bot in this team comp, in my opinion, with his counter strikes. As we see Charlie and the Pensacola Factory having a hard time
fighting Irelia under the tower.
Yeah.
And backs up as soon as the rest of his team gets the inhibitor and the turret there.
And it just looked like a reset, yeah.
Oh, with Hercules still pushing on that top side. Looks like Jack stayed to make sure that that wave mid lane gets to its destination. And Mother Dog doing his best to clear the base before getting back into a fight.
Yeah, and here we see kind of the weakness of Vayne. You know, like, she's a great scaler, a great 1v1 duelist, and in a team fight, you know, she can really output the damage if given the correct circumstances. However, when you're up against a baroned up enemy team where they have Alistar, or not an Alistar, sorry, a Ziggs and a Tristana that can just mow through your turrets, she doesn't really do much, right? She can't wave clear. She can't kill these minions as fast as Syndra. So a lot of that have to do, or a lot of the heavy lifting of wave clear will be on Charlie's back. And I think in that last team fight, we saw that, you know, if Charlie just a little bit out of position, even with the stopwatch, she's gone, you know?
And that is a great point, Gabe Nation. It is tough for Irelia and Shiv to be out there with a Jax and Alistar especially. You know, as soon as Shorty ults in, he can just knock him back into place. And Nayoshi with his stun really be a lot of appeal for their carries on this team.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see the itemizations, the Ziggs, after getting bullied so much. I kind of expected like something like a Banshees to come out just to negate some of that damage from the Syndra so he doesn't get one shot. Or like a Zonia, so you can at least, you know, Zonia's the ulti. One of the only ways to outplay that ultimate from Syndra, as we see Ziggs just blowing up that mid lane turret like it's butter.
Nayoshi jumps onto Charlie with the Zonia's Hourglass, but he is not long for the world and goes down Mother
Mother
Duck
Duck.
is doing his best to take down CeeLo B, but he gets dogpiled there at the end, and this should be that's 2 down, and that's the 2 carries down on the side of Charlie and the Pentakill Factory. Not gonna call the game just yet.
But it's pretty close.
But that's 2 inhibs down with a wave coming top real soon.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like Team Rocket is stopping. They're going for that 3rd and final inhibitor as Ziggs and Garen kind of plays distraction on the other side.
It's about 10 seconds on the death timers here, and we'll see if they'll make it back in time to join this last fight here. Looks like Jolly Boy is gonna prep for that last hurrah, but they're really just taking these towers. Meta Awesome back
in. Oh my god!
Huge ult from the Zig.
Oh
Sends
my
everyone
God.
back to the fountain. Jolly Boy trying to make a play here, and just cannot do it. 1v3. The Nexus is naked. Shyvana goes down quickly. So does the Bane, and last but not least, Neozone is gonna go down as well for a handily won game by Team Rocket here.
Yep, certainly a shaky beginning, with that 3K gold lead. But somehow the macro, I believe, is just a little better on the side of Team Rocket.
Yep, they had us in the first half there, but Team Rocket able to just power through it and come away with the victory.
Yeah, it was a good game. I really thought Charlie and the Pentakill Factory had a good momentum there in the very beginning. But like what you guys pointed out, right? Even though the kill count was at one point 12 to 5, they were losing in the gold count, right? And they were losing on the dragon count. And so, I was hoping for Charlie to really leverage that to a victory, but in the end, they just fell apart there with a really impressive game by Team Rocket. What do you think is something that Charlie and the Pentakill Factory can do to adjust, or things that they need to change in the next game?
I'm really glad you asked that, Seth. So I think personally, the vision is something that we've always talked about in every stream, but it's just really that important. I think I pointed out during the first game where Team Rocket had a whole line of wards, and that's kind of like a line of scrimmage in football, right? So the deeper you push that line of wards in, the more you're choking out the opposing team, and they're just, you better bet that they're scared to go into their jungle or wherever it is that you have vision and they don't. Because League of Legends is all about fog of war.
Yeah, I think you mentioned once or twice about Vayne just being out of position just a little bit makes a big difference, and I think having those wards really will help you, right? Keyline, what do you think is the counter adjustment for Team Rocket? I know that they're going to be thinking, hey, what are they going to do? What are they going to do in terms of to counter the counter? Keyline, I think your mic's off.
Oh, sorry about that. Technology 1, Keith 0. So, do you mean how they're going to counter Charlie and the Pentakill Factory?
I doubt that Team Rocket's going to remain the same, right?
Yeah,
what are they going to do?
So they're definitely going to try and make sure to contain Charlie as much as possible there. He had a great game throughout, dealing lots of damage, but unfortunately, like Waka Waka mentioned earlier, it's tough to really hard carry with Syndra when there's so many tanks on the other team, because her abilities really focus in, especially with her ult, focus in on one target as opposed to being able to put damage onto multiple members of the team. I think they're gonna, as always, CeeLo B is going to, find his way to just kind of stay under the radar and farm up a CS lead over Mother Duck. And I think that's one thing that Charlie and the Pentakill Factory need to focus a little bit more on, is to deny CeeLo B. There's a lot of attention going to the top lane for both junglers, and we'll see if there's any difference in this next game.
All right, well, let's gather our thoughts here. Let's take a quick break. watch some Penn highlights, and watch Chickenman catch us up to date in the sports world, and while we set up the next game. So we will be right back.
That's for the day, but it is a doozy. League of Legends continued throughout all of its regions this week, and we have 11 different brackets to go through today. Let's jump right into it with the LCS, where 100 Thieves and TSM are tied for first place.
It's the 5v4 for CLG. Arrow hits FBI, but he cleanses it off, and now the Baron is going to be hit. Demonte gets it, but can CLG get out safely? Finn is trying to do what he can, but who is low as Broxer kicks in FBI. That is such a good play, gives away his life to kill that one, and now Finn is trying to pop off. But FBI gets a kill on the other end of it there as the shutdown comes through for closer. Someday over the top of the ulti, trying to make it happen. Smoothie is going to get shredded to pieces. 100 Thieves actually going to get the ball at the end of it.
Meanwhile, over in the LCS Academy League, the FlyQuest Academy team is on top.
Trying to finish him off now. Will cannot do it. King flashes away, gets away from the bomb. King will survive. Now the rest of Cloud9 Academy are showing up to the fight. Surenfire not going to be able to land the Q, but here comes over the wall. Darshan hops and slams down 2 of Dignitas. Saligo with a slither of health remaining, tries to get away. JJ gets pulled right on in, and Surenfire is dominating.
In the LCK, Nongshim Red Force is sitting in the top spot.
Afterwards, he will just be dead. Yep. Morgan is going to be able to become Ash also. And Umpty running for the hills. Ash grabbing himself some kills here, as that's a triple for Morgan. And I have a feeling this game may be over. Is it pentakill opportunity? I do not think so. As Delight and Yaharong will just head towards the fountain. The Shockwave on cooldown, the Solar Flare also on cooldown, and Chronicler, this game might be over before 45 minutes.
And in the LCK Challengers League, the Gen G Challengers team is in first place. In the CB LOL, Pain Gaming has taken the lead from Flamengo Esports. In the LEC, the #1 spot belongs to Rogue.
Comes out, Locket used, Mickey dives in with the charm, and here it's down. And he saved the shockwave for that moment. Caps hits it. Cobby will not quite fall. He'll be the last one standing as Reckless is jumping forward, looking for the kill. Gets the speed up from the Oriana. One auto attack and a satchel ticking, ticking, ticking. And Cobby says a final goodbye. Reckless takes the shutdown. G2 take the fight. And for the 12th time in a row, G2 will lock their spot in playoffs.
Over in the PCS, there's an undefeated team on top. PSG Talon is currently 11-0.
The Nautilus instantly, Arashi still alive, but Dawn now opening up, and we get a massive 3-man move fall into the last whisper. That's the wombo combo we've been waiting for. The triple kill for Xyliath. Liao break open the base, they break the curse, and they're going for a win. Not letting their lose streak go on to double digits. They're flashing the PSG, they're getting the emotes down. This is time to party. Where were you when we have beat Virginia and open up Summer Split?
In the LPL, it's Edward Gaming on top, although only by a hair for the time being.
He's on top of Abel, but Abel immediately backs away, and the volley they're already dead. Kepler poking down, but it's not enough. Onto the Baron again.
And I'm really not sure what Alias was expecting, just going for that trio.
So I go onto Kepler, PZX in the back line as well. Lyric, Cobb's coming into fruition, man. V5 lose another Baron. It's OMG who are running for the win. And Cream, who's got so much momentum, dodges away, flashes forward. Uniboy blasted again.
The LLA also has a very close top two. Rainbow Setup just edging out Infinity for the lead. And it's not just close in the LJL, it's all tied up. Ignorant Focus Me and Rascal Jester. And our final result this week comes from the TCL, where Galactus is still holding that top spot. We're getting very close to the end of a lot of these group stages, only a week or two left for each of them, and we'll be getting into the playoffs. This was a long episode, which just goes to show you how many esports events there are at any given point. And we're really only scratching the surface with these episodes, hitting the big tournaments. All of these communities are constantly putting on smaller tournaments that are always so much fun to watch. And I gotta mention again how cool it is that Street Fighter got an Olympic-connected event this year. The Rocket League we actually covered last week was also a part of that. It's just so validating to see esports connected to such a high-level and respected event like the Olympics. But enough gushing about esports. This episode is coming to an end. If you enjoyed it, give that like button a smash, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. As always, I am sitting with Chicken Man here for the Systrom Esports Network, and I'll see you next time. Hello and welcome back to the Systrom Esports Network. I'm your host, Chicken Man, here for your weekly esports results and highlights. This week we've got a whole slew of regions playing Valorant and League of Legends, not to mention the biggest Street Fighter tournament of the year. So let's get into it. The Valorant Champions Tour got back into it this week with many regions starting their second Challengers round of Stage 3. The system can get a little complicated, but what you need to know is that the winning teams from this Challengers round get a cash prize as well as a seed into the Challengers playoffs, where the teams compete to get into the next VCT Masters event. Now let's start off with Southeast Asia, which is broken up into 5 sub-regions and actually has 3 rounds with 16 teams making it through to the playoffs. Thailand, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Vietnam all get 3 teams seeded in, and the 2 smaller regions, which are Malaysia, Singapore, as well as Hong Kong, Taiwan, each get 2 teams. I must not fall. Like I said, it's a complicated system.
First love might able to take down a couple of kills. Yeah, he finds one, he finds the second one, and he gets away. Oh no, it's all down to there's no way. Freak. Defiant Mind Freak 2v5. Pull this off. Seems like First Love, he wants to close it out right here, right now. He goes in, he gets taken down, but it's not the Mind Freak, but no, Ksenia takes him down and close it out 3-1.
Về khu middle, chắc chắn thôi, Layla cũng sẽ phải để tâm đến khu vực này cho dù có một quả smoke của Loki thật đấy. Và nếu như mà muốn chơi an toàn, Loki hoàn toàn có thể smoke, chính xác là kẻ tường ở khu vực trái spy này lại và có thể ngồi gỡ.
Never pick a fight you can't
rất
win.
hay một mạng rồi, và đó là triple kill cho Layla.
As long as your opponent don't reach.
Welcome back. This is day 9 of our League Uncop series. We're about to start game number 2 here. First game was won by Team Rocket. It was a very, very impressive win. But before we start, if you have not already done so, make sure you register and sign up for a Trovo account, right? So you can join us in chat during games. Also click that follow button down below so you can get notifications whenever the stream goes online. It really helps us out. But looks like the lobby is, well, they're almost done doing their picks and bans. And so I'm gonna let the 2 gentlemen here really discuss what's going on and tell us anything that stands out, any out of the ordinary picks. So take it away, gentlemen.
Absolutely, thank you, Seth. So looking at the picks and bans, the thing that really stands out to me is the Mordekaiser pick
This
for
mid lane.
Chale's mid lane Mordekaiser. Not something we see usually. Mordekaiser usually goes top, but I guess Chale thinks that, you know, maybe a little mid lane magic is what he needs.
Yeah.
In game number 2.
2 heavy hitters in the mid lane with Rumble and Mordekaiser. You love to see it. Cucumber maining Rumble, so they let that through to make sure that CeeLo B doesn't get his hands on Tristana and Ezreal. And Mordekaiser, we've seen Chale with a huge showing up with Mordekaiser a couple weeks ago over in the top lane. So that's going to be a great matchup mid lane. And other changes, you'll see Nayoshi picking up Warwick over the Jax this time around, and Shorty with the Nunu and Willump. So gonna have a more of an easier time engaging or ganking through the lanes and through the from the jungle with Nunu's snowball.
Yeah, and what Charlie and the Pentakill Factory's team comp really screams to me is objective control, right? You have Nunu and Willem, who has the consume on their Q that kind of, you can't really outsmite that unless, you kind of mess up the combo where you smite and consume at the same time and you can kill an objective from like 1500 as opposed to 900 from the smite. And
if consume the smite and then the Oilolicious's Nasus stacks, if that's gets up in the 300s 400s, and paired along with Ash's ult and Mordekaiser's ult, there's really, if they're at the dragon or at the baron, they should be able to get those objectives really easily and deny the Warwick with those ults if they need to, and with that damage coming from Nasus and Nunu.
Yeah, absolutely. And something else that we haven't mentioned yet is Meta Awesome Zillion. Zillion is not a pick that we usually see. However, in this case, I think it's a great pick because it enables Lucian to go as ham as he wants and have that Zillion ulti to revive him back if he does misstep.
Yep. Is this the game we're going to see CeeLo be aggressive, right from the jump? As I mentioned earlier, he really likes to make sure he's taking care of that CS lead. So we'll see if the Zillion's going to provide him enough to be able to go ham and get in the face of Ashe and Senna. Although there's a lot of CC from Ashe and Senna. So still got to be careful there and not get caught out.
Yeah, and it just looks like to me Team Rocket's team comp is more of a team fight team comp. You have, the Rumble Lucian with the high DPS. The Warwick kind of provides a frontline if Nayoshi chooses to build a more tanky Warwick. And then we have Zillion for backline support. And once again, the Garen for Hercules. Not really a team fighting champion. However, he could provide the tank. He could provide the split push. It's really up to him and how he itemizes. And on the other side, Team Charlie and the Pentakill Factory, they're going to try to look up to, they're going to get to the objectives first, set up vision, and try to catch them out. You have Ashe Arrow. You have Mordekaiser ulti. You have the Mordekaiser pull, right? You have the Nunu snowball. Huge amounts of CC that if, they spring that surprise on Team Rocket, could be devastating. And yeah, and those are the two team comps that we have as we load onto the Rift.
Yeah, I caught myself on mute again, but I'm excited to see this Ashe coming from Mother Duck. We've seen good games from Mother Duck with the Ashe, and with that Senna support. As Senna, for those that aren't familiar with Senna, there's going to be little things popping out of the minions as Mother Duck takes the minions. As Senna collects those souls throughout the game, she gains attack range and attack damage. So if they take
she actually gains a lot more. So she actually gains 4 stats: attack damage, attack range, lifesteal, and crit.
Wow.
Senna is one of those, just like Nasus, an extremely strong scaling champion. I believe the sweet spot is around 100 souls, where you get the maximum range, and you can just start shooting people from like halfway across the map.
Yeah. And we are underway for the second game between Team Rocket and Charlie in the Pentakill Factory on this 4th week and second night of the League ANCOP series. Make sure to comment who you think is going to be taking this one. I'm already seeing a few folks saying that they think Pentakill Factory won this champ select, and we'll see how that plays out throughout the game.
Yeah, and we saw the level 1s, both team meeting in the middle of the river. I think Jolly Boy single-handedly won his team that trade with a 2 hits on Garen, I believe, and that's basically 1 soul there. 1 free soul for the Senna. As we see both teams kind of just going back to their standard play, with the red buff leash from the bot lane. Yeah, and so this is a very interesting matchup, the Rumble and Mordekaiser in the mid lane. Usually we see both these champs actually in the top lane, but now in the mid lane, who do you really think is gonna take that advantage, Keith?
You know, I'm always gonna pick Mordekaiser. I myself don't know how to play against Mordekaiser, so if I have a hard time laning against them. So I think Charlie might be taking that lane. Not sure whether or not Rumble is a counter there, but I know Cucumber is really comfortable with that Rumble, so I'm sure he's gonna give Charlie a hard time as well.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, Mordekaiser and Syndra from the previous game kind of plays along the similarly. You have the Q that just kind of, you smack people with it, and then the most important ability to dodge is that E on the Mordekaiser. So if he grabs you, he kind of does his Q auto and procs his passive, which is, well, we don't see it yet, but when we do see it, I will point that out. And his passive's gonna just
charade from the mid lane there, bringing both mid laners down to about half health there. Stunned by Meta Awesome on both laners on the side of Pentakill Factory. So lots of movement on the camera here, denoting that there's a lot of action throughout.
Yeah, and we actually see Naoshi's Warwick completely skipping blue buff and wolves in favor of that Scuttle Crab. Bold strategy, but it's paying off. I think that's a free Scuttle.
Yep, not quite in position to gank there as Garen is pushed up right to Nasus's, almost right to his lane. Great hook by Charlie, not quite able to put any more damage on Naoshi's, or on Cucumber's Rumble there.
Yeah, and a very interesting summoner spell choice by Cucumber with that, with the cleanse. Usually Rumble mid runs a teleport, but it just seems like Cucumber refuses to take that summer spell regardless of who he plays.
Yeah, wants to make sure that he's not. We'll see if the cleanse comes out. Not quite.
There's
Isn't
the
afraid of
Mordekaiser
that.
passive.
Not afraid just yet of the Mordekaiser's damage there.
And it's interesting because the only thing you can cleanse from Team Rocket's team is on their bot lane, the Ashe ulti and the Senna snare, as we see Yoshi coming in for the gank, but Charlie turns it around, pulls him under the tower, and gets first blood. Well played.
Great play there by Charlie to be able to just hook him in as he thought he was Warwick thought he had a meal there, but Mordekaiser was able to pull him in and send him back to the fountain. And as we're approaching a lull here, just want to give a quick shout out to Christina Applegate. Thanks for tuning in, and for the rest of our viewers that have been with us throughout the night, make sure to follow, subscribe, and send out that link to your friends. We are doing this for a good cause for ANCOP. Oh, we'll have a trade over in the bot lane.
Yeah, and we slowly see a CS gap opening up here in the bot lane, 45 to 24, and it just goes back to what you're saying with CeeLo B loving his CS, kind of flying under the radar. As we see Nunu coming in mid for a gank, a cleanse and a flash out.
Your Hercules spinning onto Oilicious, flashes after him and dunks on him.
Yeah, so for our newer viewers, it's unfortunate, but you can't cleanse out of knockups, which is what Nunu Snowball does. Unfortunately, you also can't cleanse out of Mordekaiser ulti. So the cleanse in the mid lane is kind of more for the Ashe, as we see Mordekaiser ulting the Rumble and just smacks him down.
Oh. Bringing the hammer down, and Cucumber takes a quick trip back to the fountain. And Charlie has not had enough. He's looking to either go down bot there or help Nunu out with the dragon.
Yeah, and we see another dominant performance from Charlie in the mid lane, and it looks like it's spilling out into the side lanes as I believe they are taking the dragon. Yeah, 4-man taking the dragon. Yep. And honestly, for Charlie and the Pentacle Factory, that is something they should do, and that's stack early dragons so that you have another win condition later on in the game.
Here, Hercules getting aggressive with the Nasus once again. Oilicious able to fend away that attack from Hercules.
Oh, please stack the cannon.
For all those that are seeing that red mark on top of Nasus right now, on top of Oilicious, you'll see that throughout the game. Whenever somebody goes below 50% health, the Warwick, who Nayoshi's on, has Ascent, providing him with a little bit of vision. Not quite complete vision, but no, it's going to indicate where he is. And here Hercules is fighting under the tower, taking a couple of tower shots. Top side there.
Yep. And we see a huge discrepancy in the top lane farm as Hercules once again dunks the Nasus.
So that's 2 early kills for Hercules and 2 early kills for Charlie's Mordekaiser.
Yep.
Who's in a better spot to carry this game? Waka Waka.
I think, to be honest, I'm favoring Team Rocket right now, just because 2 kills for Hercules has led to a lot of turret plates being taken. You can see that 3 plates already stripped down, as opposed to 0 plates in the mid lane from Charlie, and that just because he prioritized the Infernal Drake, so it's understandable. However, that extra gold might come back to haunt him later, as we see Warwick ulting Charlie. Not something you really want to do, but Charlie does have the ulti. Also Mordekaiser, I believe, or also Warwick. I'm not sure. I did not quite see that as the fight continues. Nunu ultis, but it looks like the Rift Herald does not finish off the Rumble. A 2-for-1 in the river. And I believe Garen is soloing the Rift Herald. Yep, picking up that Rift Herald. Pretty slow at taking Rift. You have to kind of hit the eye. And we see bot lane just farming, and Charlie 3-1, just like last game. Let's see if he's going to take.
And just like last game, we'll see this pretty massive CS lead coming to the side of Team Rocket, or CeeLo B, I should say more specifically, with 42 CS over Ashe. And here we have Hercules not even caring about the minions and going after Nasus. Charlie might be stuck in a bad place here going against 1v4, and he ultimately goes down to CeeLo B.
Yeah. But he does get the scuttle, so that's hashtag worth in all chat right there. Yeah, so, this game looking already a little out of hand for Team Rocket. We have Nunu coming in for a gank, but not much follow-up from Nasus. There's only so much Nunu can do, really. He's a jungler with a Bomby Cinder against the Garen. But the Garen hasn't bought anything yet, so...
Oh, Nayoshi answering really quickly and doesn't get his taunt off on... the fear, I should say, off on Nasus. great flash there to avoid the death, but Nayoshi is still hungry, chasing the Nasus.
Yep, and we see they drop Rift, which is a great timing.
Yep, that's
because
a quick
there's
first tower there.
Yeah, quick first tower, and the full 5 plates plus first turret goes into the pockets of Garen, who's 3-0 and haven't backed yet with 92 CS. So I'm kind of scared to see what he buys.
The ult coming down on Nayoshi's Warwick, although we can't see that on screen. He is able to walk away from Chale.
Yeah, and we see just more farming currently, but Earth Dragon is up, so...
And Nunu is top, still providing support for the Nasus, and is actually going to get caught by the Hercules here. Having the flash out there, this should be an easy dragon for the side of Team Rocket here. Hercules still looking for blood. Silences and throws down the ult. Not quite gets the damage. And he is piled on by Chale and Shorty, but that's going to be a trade kill between Shorty and Hercules.
Yeah, kind of very well played by Nunu there. There's really nowhere else you can go, so you just gotta pop that ulti. Because when you pop that ulti, you gain a shield, and that just allows you to live a little longer. As we see bot lane.
But still scary to see that it was just a Doran's blade on that Garen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ash with the defensive ult there to allow Senna to be able to get away.
Yeah, and it looks like, honestly, Rumble is starting to win these trades. We just saw, Mordekaiser getting out-traded, and the Rumble just kind of roasting him alive there in the mid lane.
Yep, and we'll see Hercules TPing right into Oilicious' face, putting down some damage, and Oilicious going down in quick fashion there. Nice read by Hercules to be able to TP right in Nasus' face, knowing that he can take him down pretty quickly.
Yeah, and that's a full Stride Breaker completed for Hercules and level 2 boots at not even 14 minutes. This man is very fed.
Very fed indeed. Looks like he can do whatever he wants out there.
Yeah, forget Mundo. Garen goes where he pleases now. So we see Hercules solo pushing top lane, not really respecting the rotation that can come out, but he does get a level 2 turret. Can he get out? And he does. I think Charlie and the Pencil Kill Factory just a little slow there on the rotation. But nothing you can really do against a 4-on-1 Garen with a Stride Breaker. Actually, I believe Garen's just taking camps. Oh, nope, he's sitting in the bush camping the Nunu. See if Nunu actually takes the bait and walks past him, because if he does, he's basically dead.
I just want to note this farm coming from the Lucian. This is top notch. 130 farm by 15 minutes.
Yeah, this is almost competitive level farming. Usually you want to aim for 10 CS a minute, so he's getting pretty damn close.
Here we'll see the Warwick and the Garen pretty much taking what they want on the top side jungle there. Kind of limiting the Nunu's resources. He's gonna have to find a way to get them out of there or counter jungle at some point. Here, CeeLo B jumps in, and a missed stun by Jolly Boy Senna.
Yep, just a little poking and prodding here in the bot lane. No harm, no foul. As we see their bot lane going into Nunu's jungle. It's just a ward up. I really love the vision control coming out of Team Rocket. As you can see, in the bot lane river, 4 control wards littered just around that area. And as I say that, it looks like Naoshi's playing on the other side of the map, getting the Rift Herald, while Hercules plays Bodyguard, sitting in the bush and zoning out the Nunu.
Taking 3-4 different tower shots there, but still at about 80% health. That is one big boy.
Absolutely absurd. But he's very fed. I don't think anyone can really 1v1 him. So how Hercules is playing may seem kind of troll, but actually is very smart. Look at this. He just picks off Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser can't do anything. Senna ulti comes in, Mordekaiser ulti comes in, but Garen just walks away. He can actually turn this, but he doesn't go for the last auto.
He took way too many tower shots there, just one too many, and Chale able to take advantage of it and get the shutdown.
Hashtag worth there.
Hashtag worth. Can I get some of those in the chat?
Yes, absolutely. But we see Nunu pointing out Drake is spawning in 3 seconds. Naoshi is in the area, however, for Charlie
trying to get caught here.
Yep.
Jolly Boy with a stun. And Warwick is gone. That should be an easy dragon take from Charlie in the Pentakill Factory.
Yeah, and they donated to Ashe. Notice that everyone stopped DPSing. They just give it to the Ashe. Nunu gets the dragon. Senna gets 2 souls, but yeah, Mother Duck has his work. Ooh.
Great dash there by CeeLo B to be able to. Oh, and Mother Duck flashes in. There's an ult from Zilean.
Ooh, one more auto, one more auto. There
Ashe
it is.
Masterfully waits for that Zilean ult to finish. Great gank by Shorty. Be able to slow Cucumber and Hercules, and we'll see if they have enough damage to put Garen back down. Not quite.
Not quite indeed. And we see a trade 2-for-1 in the bot lane and kind of a scuffle with Rumble blowing his flash in the mid lane.
It looks like Ashe went down there in that fight before we panned over to the mid lane. Went down to the Zilean after taking down the Lucian.
Yeah, we see huge amount of map pressure coming in from Team Rocket. Warwick ghosting away from Mordekaiser and the collapse.
Chasing them down, but they were able to see that from a mile away with that ward by the blue buff there.
And a really good ulti by Naoshi there. We barely saw the end of that, but he actually ultied out.
Goes down on the top side. Hercules has free reign up here.
Hercules unrelenting in that pressure. And we just see Rumble and Lucian just taking mid lane just because Charlie had to back and go top. So, a lot of push and pulls, but it looks a little more pushing from the side of Team Rocket into the enemy territories. Hercules still playing that good old-fashioned hide and seek. Just camping there in their jungle.
Just the missed pull from Chale and the missed stun from the Jolly Boy there. Almost had that Rumble.
Yeah, and it's 20 minutes in. Let's check on the soul count. 74 souls from Senna. That's actually really, it's pretty good in terms of soul count, as we see him just getting absolutely burned by the Rumble ulti. Has the flash. So Senna without flash, kind of a sitting duck here, especially for someone like a Garen, Rumble, Warwick. And we see, full court press coming in from Team Rocket, rocking a around 5K, 5.5K gold lead at 21 minutes. Not insurmountable, but Charlie and the Pentakill Factory has to give up a lot of resources, but they really need to wrestle that vision control back from Team Rocket, especially in their own jungle. Either Mike's
Zillion and Lucian was about to. Oh, they were able to get out there, get out of that spot before the Pentakill Factory collapsed on them. And here we'll have a gank from Shorty. Shorty misses his snowball and takes some damage from CeeLo B.
Yeah, it looks like a little indecision there. It looks like he was originally going to go for the Lucian, but then saw the Warwick pop up and then try to curve it. Just wasn't Tokyo drifting it enough back the other way. So a little missed opportunity. Hopefully next time it's going to be a little cleaner on that drift.
Yep, Team Rocket is doing a great job of putting the pressure on them, finding opportunities to deal damage to Charlie and the Pentakill Factory, but getting out like almost untouched. Especially with Lucian's Gale Force, his dash, and Zillion supporting him, giving him that extra life and giving him the movement speed. It's really a good recipe for that bot lane to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. And both ADCs with 2 kills, 1 death, and 1 assist. However, Lucian does have that 60 CS lead, so that's a lot. As we see Hercules going in, Ashe has to heal and ulti, but ultimately does absolutely nothing to him. Just a little poor play there. There's no vision down there. Can't really extend that far.
And the Prince of Demacia is too much for Charlie and the Pentakill Factory right now. This is his kingdom, and he walks where he pleases.
Yeah, and no one can contest him. He has... Ooh, that's a disgusting build. He's going for a Phantom Dancer, I believe, with that Zeal item, as we see Team Rocket securing second drag. This is kind of a crit style...
We'll see the Charlie's ult onto Nayoshi, but not quite able to find him just yet, and finally puts him down, and he finds himself in between 3 members of Team Rocket. CeeLo B flashes out and is out of the fight for a bit, has to ult, put on some damage. Hercules also flashes out. That was a pretty good fight from the side of the Pentakill Factory there.
Yeah, a 4v4 demonstrating Mordekaiser is a force to be reckoned with right now with his 2 items.
Here we go, Cucumber caught in the wrong place, takes a snowball to the face and allows Ashe to go in on the Garen, taking him down. That's 3 for 0 on the side of the Pentakill Factory. And it looks like they're making their sights towards the Baron here. Might be the turn that they're looking for.
Yeah, 24 minutes. The Garen, one of the strongest members on Team Rocket dead. Mid laner on Team Rocket dead. Oyo-licious TPing into the Baron pit just to help out with that. Yeah. And this should be a uncontested Baron. We see Warwick still near a fountain as we see Zillion gets caught, has to ult himself, but also it doesn't really matter, right?
Goes down.
Yeah. 5 people just waiting for ulti to expire.
But we'll see Nayoshi here, hopping on the Nasus. He thought he's by himself, but Ashe is there to ult and bring him down. Oyo-licious had some backup.
Yeah, and actually I love that. I love that play. It looked like everyone backed on the team of Charlie and the Pentakill Factory, but no, Oyo-licious was just the bait. And
yeah,
Nayoshi
300 IQ move there, Oyo-licious.
Yeah, and Nayoshi just ate that up. So, taking stock of the game now, we see the kills relatively even, 11 to 12. 2k gold lead to the side of Team Rocket, but
with Baron buff, that's gonna get a lot smaller really fast.
Yeah, especially since Charlie and the Pentakill Factory does not have any turrets taken right now. So let's see if they can actually make a push and get some standing gold, which is the 3 outer turrets.
Yeah, so no turrets on the side of the Pentakill Factory here. I wonder how they're going to poise to relieve some of the pressure off them and get some of those objectives.
Yeah, this is not looking too hot. If you are the team with Baron and you're not pushing, that Baron isn't really very useful. So we see, there's red wards in the river. So there is some vision control for Charlie and the Pentakill Factory, but just still a little too scared to step out, it seems like.
Yeah, shoot, with that Garen kind of just running around, I would be too. But they definitely need to make good use of this Baron and claw their way back into this gold.
Yeah, we see
Charlie
3 people
getting caught out here and putting down the damage on Nayoshi, able to take a kill in a 3v1. There's a great ult by Jolly Boy Senna to put a shield and some heals on there. Misses the Ashe ult a little bit wide, and CeeLo B is able to join the fight along with Hercules.
Yeah, a great fight from Chale. That's the dangers of ganking Mordekaiser. He can make any XV1 into a 1v1 with his ulti. So Nayoshi, not really respecting the Mordekaiser ulti, kind of goes in and then realizes, oh no, I'm by myself against this uber-fed Mordekaiser with 3 items. And then just goes down. But I love the play from Charlie and Pentakill Factory. The Senna ulti giving that huge shield in addition to Charlie's own shield. And the Zanyas basically just buys time for his team to get there to have his back.
Yep, and so as the Baron buff has come down here, we'll see still a 2k gold lead on the side of Team Rocket. And as the Dragon is up in about 40 seconds here, we'll see how, or 15 seconds I should say. And it looks like Meta Awesome might be caught out there, having to flash out. And CeeLo B's Lucian joins the party.
Yeah, and 4 sweeper trinkets on the side of Charlie and the Pentakill Factory. They probably listened to what we said last game about vision control and just have 4 people denying vision.
Alright, Nayoshi jumps in a little bit too late there, and Jolly Boy gets burned down by the Rumble ult. Rumble coming in from the back line, and CeeLo B attempting to stay alive against this Mordekaiser. Lots of damage, and ultimately kills Mordekaiser with the help of his Zillion support. Hercules and Nass is going at it up top. He's able to take down that 3rd tier turret and makes his sights on the inhibitor.
Yeah, and you see just there how hard it is to ulti the Lucian. He has Flash, he has a E-dash, and then he has Gale Force. Charlie, extremely difficult to land any skill shots on Lucian.
Hercules here, caught out, stayed a little bit too long and thirsted for that inhibitor. Hashtag worth, is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for an inhibitor, I would gladly give my life for an inhibitor. That's an easy decision. As we see Hercules, 4 items now: Mortal Reminder, Sterax Gauge, Dead Man's Plate, and a Stride Breaker. 240 CS, highest in the game, higher than his AD carry actually. He's just sitting in the side lane, soaking up farm. Not sure what level he is actually, can't really see, but I'm sure it's probably like level 16 or something. At least level 16. So extremely strong side laner at this point. But hey, the saving grace on Charlie and the Pentakill Factory is that Mordekaiser. He's been performing extremely well, essentially taking 1v3s and coming out of that still alive. But honestly, the target selection for the Mordekaiser is going to be the most important. You don't really want to have CeeLo B in that death chamber like last time. It's really hard to hit CeeLo B with that with any of your skill shots because he just has so many dashes. So maybe take someone like the Rumble, maybe take someone like the Zillion.
Yeah.
The Warwick has been working out really well for the Mordekaiser, so maybe just stick with that. But just curious to see how he's going to keep going on these future team fights.
Yeah, and we'll see 2 Kraken Slayers on the side of the Pentakill Factory here. Might be useful for them as they start team fighting, especially with how big this Garen is.
Yeah, and it's
down a little bit.
And it's really hard to team fight as Ash and Jolly Boy, Senna, in my opinion. Just too much backline threat from the Rumble. And the Garen at this point, if he decides to group, can just run through them as we see Team Rocket starting the Baron. Charlie does know.
No vision on the side of the Pentakill Factory, and this is going down quick at 3k health here, but Nayoshi is taking a lot of damage, but ultimately they're able to get it, and Chale finds himself in the middle of 4 members of Team Rocket, and knocked down by CeeLo B.
However, the Rumble does fall, and we see the Ash miss. Oh my.
We'll have Hercules again 1v1ing Oilicious, taking another 3rd tier turret and jumping on that inhibitor next. And finally, CeeLo B goes down. Shorty is sent back to his fountain by the Warwick. First kill coming onto that Warwick.
Yeah, great team fight by the side of
Hercules
Team Rocket.
Here deciding to back. Oh, nope, he keeps on playing how he's played all game. And just taking objectives. Nayoshi making his way through the mid lane, taking some turret damage. And this should be the end of the game.
Yep, and there it is. 50 gold to Hercules.
So another decisive victory here from Team Rocket.
Yeah, it's that time, you know, top lane popped off, and when Garen pops off and he builds some crit, his spin's gonna just keep critting you, you know, and it's just massive damage.
Yeah, so we saw success from CeeLo B last game, and then Hercules this game. So a lot of strength coming from those side lanes there. What you know, what adjustments do the Pentakill Factory need to make approaching this 3rd game?
I think they should draft around some wombo combos. That's what I really want to see from Charlie and the Pentakill Factory. Something simple to execute that says, hey, if everyone presses R, we can win the team fight. And I want to see some more grouping, you know, like push out the lane and then group mid to push down objectives, push down towers. Because ultimately, I think Charlie and the Pentakill Factory only got 1 turret that game, as opposed to, you know, like the countless ones that Hercules himself just pushed down. So, you know, hopefully Charlie and the Pentakill Factory can make some adjustments for game 3, and we'll see how well they can weather the storm.
And so having played with oh, go ahead there, Seth.
Oh, go ahead. I was just gonna say it was a really excellent play there by a Garen play here by Hercules, right? He pretty much was soloing all over the place. Yeah. But I think there was a point where CPF got the Baron, but didn't take advantage of it, right? They didn't really push the lanes, and until it wore off. But I think the recurring theme of the night really is just good ward vision and the gold lead by Team Rocket, and that's been the same story since game 1 as well. So just I want to see if you know, CPF can, you know, mitigate those specific areas, right? To see if they can get the gold lead at some point or get better vision. I think they did that in some points of the game, but not consistently.
Yeah, I totally agree there. I think coming into this 3rd game, we've seen CeeLo B, you know, display mastery in you know, a few different champions already. At this point, I feel like they might need to just let him play whoever and just ban out some of the other laners. You know, that Garen was nearly unstoppable.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, while we set up for game number 3, let's take a quick break, you know, see if Team CPF, right, re-examines their strategy and make some adjustments. You know, for me, it's really the gold lead that really gets out of hand, and then just the division. So let's see if they do a better job on that. But In the meantime, we'll be right back, and stay tuned. Keep that stream on. It gets our average viewer numbers up, and we'll see you after this break.
Rather, has to back away first, respecting that he's going to get caught in the fire if he's not careful about this. But Georgie, okay, one after the other. And oh no!
Oh my god!
Their chances of making this happen, they even see Trick dashing into Jenny. And where did that come from? The shock dart!
Let's talk about the winners this week who are now seeded into the playoffs. Full Sense from Thailand, Alter Ego from Indonesia, Galaxy Racer from the Philippines, Cerberus Esports from Vietnam, CBT Gaming from Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Uwu from Malaysia, Singapore. All right, let's move on to the slightly less complicated regions like Japan, where 4 teams made it through: Fennel, Reject, Feeling, and Insomnia.
好きな人は好き、黒選手に怒られますけれども、さあここは終わりです。雷のファーストキルからスタート。数キル目、やはりクロスエアを変える価値がありました。アレティアのカバー、センターから DD を抜けてフラッシュゼロ距離。
Brazil also had 4 teams making it to the playoffs: Stars Horizon, Sharks Esports, Team Vikings, and Game Landers Blue. Brazil has a 3rd Challengers round next week to secure the final 4 spots. Korea works a little differently than the others, as they only have 1 long round where the top 8 teams will get through to the playoffs. Right now they're working through the group stage.
Harry inside here is ended up, he gets killed off here by Akame.
It's all right, Suggest is coming. It's another one. All right, up drops back.
Oh my god, nice response here by 10X. Again, the reaction timing is just so good. That's going to be it. GG 13-2.
Latin America is broken into both North and South regions. In the South, Chaos Latin Gamers and 9Z Team made it through. The North will finish up this coming week. More regions will also join these ones in the VCT this coming week. We'll cover those in our next episode. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out. Now to another FPS with lots of regional play. Rainbow Six Siege had 4 regional leagues, which all continue their group stages this week, as well as the Benelux League, which finished theirs and has secured their top 6 teams for the playoffs. Meanwhile, in the North American League, the group stage still has a week left, but Space Station Gaming has already secured 1st place.
SSG from dropping down as well. It's holding off the tide for now, but will it do so forever? That's the question. And the answer is going to be no. Foltz with another important kill here against Razor. Jarvis now out of utility. No more Toxic Babes to hold back the rest of SSG. Filthy, though, finding so many kills, but Bosco able to stop Jarvis, and now Filthy is the lone man on the field here. The Nitro as well as whiffed on that corner of wood paneling, and that's going to seal the...
In the European League, it was Team Empire on top of the leaderboard as they played through their last week of groups.
But it's suddenly coming through for them. There it is. Shinka is left in a 1 versus 2 situation on the back line with a C4 in pocket. Wants to try and take the fight, the cover down the long. Takes that very dip dive there. The pick up, they didn't stick it!
As Asia Pacific North finished up, it was Cyclops Athlete Gaming in the top spot.
They need to find Tex, and they will be able to find him as well. It's up to Mag and Mentalist, the last 2 left. Mentalist with a great kill, with a great take. Brings it back to just that 2-on-3 situation. The shield is down. It's all up to Mag in a 1v3. The plant goes down. 45 seconds, surely he has heard it. Manages to get the cover out. That is going to be the plant that suddenly gets cancelled as well. The shield saves the life there of Mag, but he has no clue where the players are, and it just crouches, he just turtles, because that shield should be providing some cover, and he's walking backwards through all these holes. He's using that ability to the best of its potential. As the plant's now going down, there's 45 seconds, or is he going to be able to stop it in time? No, he's in the other side, and he's not going to be winning it.
And in Asia Pacific South, it's Knights taking 1st place.
Seals the fate, Manic.
Time ticking down, Speakeasy, the nails there. All they've got to do is wait for the hammer to fall. DCH trying his best to stop it, but Invictus do it. They secure themselves a spot in the playoffs.
And with that, nearly all of the teams are set for the next 6 major. Only the Asia Pacific playoffs left to decide the final 2 teams. Now let's move on to Counter-Strike. It's going to be a quick one this week. There was only one event, the We Play Academy League. Began their online stage round robin, which will finish up this coming week.
Might have survived the mid-fights earlier on, but he doesn't last long in A. JDC has got their boys back, and Result alone asked to clutch 1v4 as that bomb goes down.
Oh, dude, it's such a VP Prodigy game. They long it out. They go all the way to round 30, but do they fall at the final hurdle? It seems likely. Result, he's been good, but this is asking too much from one man. Shots not connecting, kills not given, and the Deagle, it does take down one. However, time is not in his favor, and Shane shuts it out. It's going to be the map for Mouse and...
We have a couple of slow weeks for CSGO as everyone comes off the high of IEM Cologne, but the next ESL Pro League season starts soon, so we'll have more in the coming weeks. Moving on now to Overwatch, the Contenders had some results this week in a couple of regions. In North America, it was the American Tornado taking first place for the second month in a row.
Hope here left for them, and Hope might have gone out the window with Provide taking that fall.
He even threw out the immortality field by the doorway too, just in case Dark Mode were gonna rotate out of that doorway, but they couldn't even have the chance. You bring that fight into that close quarters with Speedly, and it's just doomed for you. Quite literally doomed. Because, you know, right now, you currently have Speedly just punching out Fortnite fish, and nobody's left from Dark Mode to touch this payload.
Yeah, they lost their Tracer, and they lost the map. American Tornado once again, 4-0 now.
And in Europe, it was Falcons Esport in the top spot.
Lemon Lolsish spins to win. Fincy and Admiral are thus far distracted. Pile Driver does a bunch of damage, and guess who's doing more? It's Psycho. Gratham returns on the Bastion from the back. It's going to be so much damage to deal with.
Oh, Skyripper identifies that they had used Fate, so Psycho was able to execute. British Hurricane only have Regina healed. They have no heals. Falcons with the Bastion at the back. The comeback, the Photon Barrier. British Hurricane are gone. The storm is settled, and Falcons snatch back their crown.
Let's head on over to the Call of Duty League, which finished up their Stage 5 groups this week.
Thieves. There's one. We'll see how lucky he is if he can get another player out of this one, but here come the reinforcements. Optic now lining up. Oh, but they run into Slasher. They run straight into him, 3v2. It's T2P. The bomb planted now. Here comes the push. Forward makes his way forward. He gets himself one. The attack's still raging though, and again, you can't get any more. And it's a 1v2 now for Scum. Now it's a 1v1. It's Kenny versus Scum. The bomb's still down. Kenny has eyes on the push now. If the play is being made, it's got to happen now. Oh my God. Chance, we're going to hold our breath for a moment. There's a lot of time to work with on the clock, and Kenny is going to post up in a corner. Scum's going to run by. Damage dealt. Isn't enough to get the kill though. Scum, back and forth we go. 15 seconds. Kenny holds the line, gets the kill. The reverse sweep completed.
Optic Chicago took Group A, and Dallas Empire won Group B. The Stage 5 major starts this coming weekend. Now let's finish up our shooters for the day with a little PUBG. The ESL PUBG Masters Europe Summer is underway. Navi currently on top of that leaderboard.
He just catches him up top. Very low on health. Quepta, but space gets one. Second one, Vex. He's all damaged. Another one's fallen. A 1 versus 1 will unfold. Vex has to seal the deal here. Honor's gonna take it all for him. It's Vex versus Honor. 1 versus 1, the tree and the rock. A rock and a half plays for Space, giving the information. He's jiggle peeking around the corner.
I get it. Let's check out our old friend StarCraft 2 now as the GSL semifinals play this week.
I don't know, man. Now the Lynx are going to come in here and kill off the probes. I think now Parting's going to try to shift the action here. He's going to move up, but he's going to have a fight right on creep.
Oh, the fungal.
Oh my God, the angling here is so good for the Zerk. The fungal's too strong. Everything getting wiped out. This game is over. Parting has lost 0-4, and Dark will go on to face off against Trap in the GSL finals. GG.
Trap and Dark will be throwing hands in the finals this coming week. Speaking of which, Street Fighter V had a ton of action this week as the Intel World Open played through all 11 of its regions.
Trap him there. Oh, he wasted. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, was that supposed to be a V reversal on the cycle blast? Either way, the Sand Heavy Kick does connect with it.
Long grab.
He's got in the corner. He's not doing the command grab just yet. Busts out with the EX head, but we talked about that, the long-term conditioning of it. Puts the second mirror out, but Hot Dog knew. Jumped out immediately.
He's got to chill. And if he's going to throw anything out, it's got to be Cycle Crusher at the tip.
Oh,
trade!
No,
where's the other Cycle Crusher? No,
it doesn't matter. Hot Dog hits the reset. Oh my goodness. Down 2-0. It looked like it was going to be as free as any other set in this bracket, but no.
The event is partnered with the Tokyo Olympics to showcase some high-level e-athletes, similar to the StarCraft IEM event in Korea in 2018.
One more dive kick here if he can get it in time. Checks the dash. There it is.
Force the block.
Oh, he's ready. This could be the end. Wake up, back dash. No, where's the CA? No, it wasn't gonna kill it. It was gonna lead to Oki. But it doesn't matter. You should have taken your shot. Instead, Taquito tramples all over it, reclaims the throne, and gets the victory. Taquito to the Sama status lines. BK Sama actually doing a great job keeping Travis in this corner.
That's fine. B reversal, this is what I'm talking about. Better defense. Now, turns to offense. Tech, EX, trade definitely in his favor with the finesse and bless. Overhead, not punished, but the Batista bomb throw, there you go! BK Sama, aka BK Kama.
Welcome back. This is LAS. Those who are just tuning in, we're about to hop on to our game number 3. Right now, Team Rocket is up 2-0. But we want to thank all our viewers for joining us here tonight. All those who just tuned in. You know, if you haven't done or you haven't already done so, go ahead and register for a Trovo account and hit that follow button at the bottom, and that would really help us out. But just you guys being here, yeah, we really appreciate it. So thank you. So right now we are in the banning and picking stage, and looking through this, Waka Waka, I see Hercules is on the top lane there. But you know, Garen's already been banned. So what do you guys see here that is out of the ordinary?
I think the most striking thing right now is the Yasuo pick from Chale. Not known for the Yasuo play. I think that's gonna be given to Jolly Boy, who's gonna take that into the bot lane. But in terms of top lane, we see Nasus given over to Oilicious once more for that late scaling champion, and the Irelia for Hercules.
So what can you say about this current picks there, Aki line?
Yeah, so looks like they've learned from their lesson here and banned out a couple more champions for Hercules. Still denying CeeLo B the Ezreal there. But yeah, interesting enough, we're seeing the Yasuo over on Aphelios. Okay, well, Yasuo and Aphelios, kind of pretty interesting picks. Silas too. Looks like the Pentakill Factory is really looking to shake things up to avoid that 3-0 sweep for the second week in a row.
Yeah. If they lose this last game here, they're gonna fall really far behind, and with only 2 games remaining next week, I think they have 1 game after that, and I think they won't be able to catch up. So I think this is a key game 3 for them, and this kind of sometimes if it's not working, you gotta shake it up, right?
You said it, Seth. That's what we saw in our game last night. We had a couple of roster changes and position changes, and it worked out for the best in that game 3, and hopefully we'll see the same here for the Pentakill Factory.
Yes, definitely. Well, as we get started here, I'll let you guys take it away, and can talk in more depth on what heroes or champions they've got selected here. So take it away, casters.
Yeah, so thank you, Seth. So when I saw the Yasuo lock-in, I was pretty excited because, Yasuo is not a champ that we usually see. It's a pretty high skill cap, but you can do some nutty things on this champion. Certainly one of those 1v9 champions that once in the late game kind of scales really well. However, once we get to the second pick, I really wanted something to enable this Yasuo. Someone with massive AoE knockups, like a Malphite. Malphite's not banned. Really wanted to see someone pick up the Malphite so that, like I said before we got into break after game 2, something that if we all press R together, we can win a team fight. And a Malphite would have been the perfect enabler. However, I don't think that's what CPF really drafted for here.
And apart from Thresh's Flay, there's really no other knockup on that team. So Chale's going to have to find those knockups on his own. But, as we've seen from Yasuo players throughout, once they go in, they can somehow manage to zig and zag their way through and find a knockup there. But on the other side here, on Team Rocket's team, we've seen Master Yi on Nayoshi, and not a lot of CC on the side of Team Rocket. There's one ability that Silas CCs, and Thresh has his death sentence in play. But apart from that, not really a ton of CC for that Master Yi. So he might be able to flourish throughout this game, especially with a Braum in those team fights. Ooh.
Absolutely, and Braum passive is absolutely crazy level 1. So I'm curious to see. Yeah, I'm curious to see what Team Rocket's gonna be able to do. Whether or not they're gonna go for an invade, a late invade, or just a standard start. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go ahead and invade, especially with the Braum's Q, and finds a one punch in there, and Lucian able to get those quick autos in. That'll result in a pretty quick stun.
Yeah, and Lucian Braum is an insanely strong lane. Just like you said, even if Braum misses the Q, if he tags you with his passive, Lucian's going to be jumping on that. And his passive, which gives him 2 autos at once, is going to make Braum's passive trigger even faster. So it's going to really be on Thresh, Mother Duck's Thresh, to save Jolly Boy's Aphelios, because Aphelios, another champion we haven't really seen at this tournament. Extremely strong late scaling champion, but again, another champion with extremely high skill ceiling. So I'm really curious to see how Jolly Boy and Mother Duck is going to weather this hurricane of a storm that's coming from Team Rocket's bot lane.
And we'll see Cucumber bringing out the Ziggs once again. We saw that huge 4-man ult at the end of the game in the first game, putting down the damage on every member of Charlie and the Pentakill Factory. So he has a good Ziggs already, but haven't really seen a lot of Irelia play from Hercules. You have any insight on that, Waka Waka?
Yeah, actually, I've played against his Irelia a couple of times on Summoner's Rift and on Howling Abyss, which is the ARAM map. Really decent Irelia. His team fight is going to be one of the harder challenges that he's going to face. But given last game, I don't think this Irelia is ever going to group with a team anyways. So we're really going to be looking for that 1v1 between the Irelia and the Nasus.
And we are underway here for the third game of the matchup between Team Rocket and Charlie and the Pentakill Factory. And as everyone leaves the fountain, what is your prediction for this game here, Waka Waka?
Honestly, I'd probably have to give it to Team Rocket. It's just the lack of setup for the Yasuo, This is really unfortunate. As we see 2 invades, both teams invading.
Oh,
a little.
A death sentence for Mother Duck. Kind of
on, but nothing
put
really
Team
happens.
Rocket in a tizzy there and foiled their plans, so to speak.
Yeah,
and they're trucking on there. Look, they're looking for a fight. They really want this level 1 fight.
They see the Aphelios with the Trinket Award.
Oh, with the death sentence on Irelia.
Shorty, trying to hit that E, but kind of a little short there. As we see Team Rocket just kind of backing off. I think they definitely could have stayed and fought, especially with Braum's level 1.
Yep, especially because Nasus is still up in the top lane there. He wasn't anywhere near that fight at all.
4v5, a little unfortunate, but a safe start is always good. As we see all the lanes going to their respective lanes. Actually, what's interesting and kind of ballsy from Mother Duck, he took Ignite against Aphelios Braum. I feel that's kind of disrespectful, especially since this Lucian Braum lane can just one-tap your AD carry. Like right now, if that Lucian went in, as you just lost the lane there immediately.
I think if he was level 2, that would have been an easy jump for the Lucian. But playing it a little bit safe, as we've seen from CeeLo B, just focusing on his farm. And there they hit the level 2 sooner than Charlie and Pentakill Factory there.
Yeah.
Hercules staying aggressive, even through this third game.
Yeah, Oilicious actually sidestepped the Irelia E. Very key there, because if he gets stunned up and Irelia jumps on him, that's a lot of damage. Probably gonna have to go back. So we see Chale going.
Good damage from Chale and Wind Wall to block any trade potential for Cucumber.
Another knockup. So we see the junglers going from bottom to top, just still jungling, trucking on. We see Nayoshi for going the Scuttle Crab, going for a level 3 gank. Ooh, misses the tornado. Actually, I think if Charlie actually flashed under the turret and took Nayoshi with him, that would have been a kill, especially with the tornado to knock him up. Perhaps just thinking that he could just walk it out and just save his flash for later. So the safe play again, but nothing you can fault him on. And we see top lane is farming. Oilicious actually keeping up in farm this time. Only a couple CS down, not a big deal. But we do see the mid lane farm gap getting higher and higher.
And Nayoshi looks like he might be caught out here with the tornado up for Chale, able to knock up the Ziggs and turn his attention towards Cucumber.
Yeah, Silas Yasuo is actually a really strong jungle mid combo. Definitely better than a Ziggs Master Yi, especially since there's absolutely no reliable CC on the side of Ziggs and Master Yi. But yeah, a little late on the rotation by the Ziggs.
Oilicious was able to dodge, to sidestep that, but walks right back into the Irelia there.
Yeah, because he was under turret, Irelia is not going to jump on him. So it's a good positioning. And yeah, Irelia just putting a deep ward into Silas's jungle. But Silas just continues to farm from top to bottom. Silas Jungle Keith, you're a jungle main now, right? So how do you feel about this this Silas?
I've seen a lot of success behind Silas, but not so much lately. I'm not sure where he's at as far as the meta goes, but being able to steal ults from the Lucian, the Braum, the Ziggs, and even the Master Yi, those are great ults to choose from in their in team fight situations.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, his best two ultis to steal is definitely the Ziggs and the Braum. I think those two, and the Irelia one, scales off of AP. So, you know, Silas gonna be building AP regardless. So those utility ultis are gonna be doing a lot of damage. Something to be looking out for as this game progresses.
Yep, and we'll see that huge CS gap between Chale's Yasuo and Cucumber's Ziggs there, with nearly 32 CS ahead.
Yeah, and you know, we've all played against those Yasuo mids. You know, they either get really fed or they're just running it down. So, you know, I'm curious to see. Oh, and there it is. Braum going in, great flay.
Forcing the flash out of Jolly Boy. Flash and the heal out of Jolly Boy. And Chale, we see him landing that knockup on the Ziggs.
Yeah, Meta Awesome going a little deep, but a really good flay by Mother Duck to get him into the tower so that he has the flash.
Nayoshi doesn't quite have his ult there, and Chale not able to wind wall that damage for the Cucumber, but still able to have enough in the tank to walk away. Although it doesn't look like he's resetting. He's trying to get his farm and make sure that his lead stays put. Oh, wow. What a great engage from Chale to pop that Ziggs before the Master Yi can even react and get back into lane. And still under level there, is able to dodge the knockup.
Master Yi
putting down
loses
some
this.
damage, and Master Yi goes down. Donates a kill to Chale's Yasuo.
Yeah, and what we saw there, a little misplay by Cucumber. He still has the exhaust, so when you're actually knocked up by Yasuo and then he ults you, that's while you're doing nothing in the air, it's always good to just slap that exhaust onto the Yasuo to mitigate as much of that ulti damage as you can. But then at the end, a little late flash there, donates a free flash and a free kill to the Yasuo.
Yep. It happened in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Great play there by Chale.
Yeah, great play and great knowledge of the game to know that, hey, I can kill the Ziggs. And we see a lane swap between Cucumber and the Irelia Hercules. Do you think this is a good idea? Do you think Irelia will fare better in this matchup?
I think so, just because she has the ability to kind of trade in those melee situations. With Ziggs, it's a little bit tougher to get those abilities in when Yasuo's right on top of you. But although I do think this is helpful for Charlie and the Pentakill Factory as well, because Nasus is a bit ahead in farm of the Ziggs. Although
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
might change in just a moment. And here, Shorty. Death sentence by Mother Duck. Meta Awesome was able to block that ult from Jolly Boy.
But you see, this Braum is just so tanky when he puts up that wall. Like, Mother Duck suffered way more damage than Braum, as we see it. Yoshi coming in. Beautiful combo there with Shorty Silas. Yeah, something that we didn't really know was that Silas E2, when he throws out the chains, is a mini knockup. So great call by Chale to be able to react to that, because it's instantaneous, that knockup.
Yep, and it looks like Nasus is going to have a hard time with the Ziggs as well. He's already down to about 20% health, maybe lower. But Nayoshi being out of position, this should be a free dragon on the side of Charlie and the Pentakill Factory. So really strong early showing from them, especially with Chale, with those 2 early kills, and building on that. It's going to be key for them to make sure that CeeLo B doesn't get too ahead of Jolly Boy's Affilio.
Yeah, and we've seen this this story play out countless times today. You know, Chale starts 3-0, 3-1, 4-0 even, but in the end, it's just hard
Here
to
we'll
close
see
out.
Braum jumping on Jolly Boy, able to stun him with a follow-up from CeeLo B, and he goes down. Kill goes to Meta Awesome's Braum.
That's a very odd place to put the lantern. I think you should probably throw it back towards the Aphelios, just so he could ride that lantern out with you.
Yep.
So a little slight misplay on Mother Duck's side, but yeah, it's like we said during Champ Select, right? This is exactly what they're gonna do to you. As soon as Braum tags you, Lucian's gonna E in. He's gonna get 3. Yeah, that's like 3
easy stacks.
Exactly, and then you know Lucian's range, so he's just gonna auto you one more time. You're stuck there for like a second. And you know, Lucian, Q, you know.
The Braum Lucian special.
Yeah. So, you know, they gotta play a little bit more respectful, especially when they're pushed up with no summoners. But yeah, just continuing to farm. We've been talking a lot about this Lucian. Keith, let me ask you, have you played Aphelios before?
I have, and I've played him once and never touched him again. I'm not quite sure what his kit does. It's very confusing to me. But all I know is he has, I want to say 3 or 4 different quote-unquote weapons that they all deal different types of damage. He has one that's AoE damage, much like Jinx's rocket Qs, and all the others are a mystery to me.
Okay, so just to clarify, I've also played Aphelios like once and never touched him again. However, I have read his tooltips as we see Nayoshi dropping the Herald here on the top side.
To get those quick plates, and Oilicious' ult comes down, brings down the Rift before any... Oh, Nayoshi taking a lot of damage there. Oilicious
with the solo kill. 1v2 tower defense. Nayoshi kind of just misplaying there because Master Yi, you kind of want to use your Q to dodge out another flash. A Charlie. Can he land a tornado?
Charlie
going
into deep there.
That's not what we want to see. Little misplay there by Charlie. Kind of big though because Irelia is just free pushing in the mid lane.
Yep, might be able to take another plate or even that entire turret there if nobody responds right away. And we, Charlie in the Pentakill Factory has two folks busy top lane. Make that one with Oilicious going down to the turret.
Yeah, bizarre set of plays, but I guess, you know, the action never stops. We have Massey chasing down Silas in the top lane, and Irelia just took a full tower from Charlie's roam. Okay, maybe not yet. Okay, there we go. And I think he can turn this around. Oh, nope. He lands the ulti, the tornado, and just goes for it.
Here we'll find Braum landing his Q, and Charlie able to dash out a little bit, and Nayoshi joins, but not before Lucian goes down, and Shorty is going down as well. Mother Duck comes a little bit too late to help out, misses the death sentence, and goes back under the turret.
Just a little lack of communication between the bot lane and the mid lane.
But great presence of mind for Charlie to, you know, again, like you said earlier with the Ziggs, I can kill this Lucian. So jumps in, gets the trade kill before he goes down to his death.
Yeah, certainly. And I feel like at that point, it's not so much like I can kill the Lucian. It's more like I'm in so deep that if I don't kill this Lucian, I'm going to be killed anyways, you know? So, yeah, but great presence of mind by Charlie to make that play.
Yep, that's kind of the mentality you have to have with Yasuo sometimes.
Oh, I completely agree. That's why I don't play Yasuo.
Yep.
And we see the Infernal Drake has now spawned both teams in the river. This Irelia is huge, actually. 137 CS in 15 minutes. That's good CS in. And the same that can be said with Charlie. 138 on his Yasuo. However,
as Team Rocket takes down the Infernal Dragon with very little resistance from Charlie in the Pentakill Factory.
Yeah, and what are the odds, Keith? 3 Cloud Souls in a row. This is just such bad luck on the Dragon Soul RNG here. I think this game would be a lot more entertaining as we see Charlie going head to head with Irelia.
And takes him down. Hercules. He was huge, but not big enough. And Jolly Boy tries to trade with Lucian and takes him down as well. Cucumber in a bad spot against Shorty and Oilicious, and goes down to Shorty Silent. Lots of action. Meta Awesome fighting Charlie here, but joined quickly by Nayoshi. And he goes down as well. That is 6 gray screens right now.
Yeah,
lots of action throughout.
3 for 3, a lot of like turret dives and a lot of 1v1s. Charlie 1v1ing the Irelia. He does have the Immortal Shield Bow, which I don't think Hercules saw, so he does get that shield, which really mitigated a lot of the damage that I really wanted to do to kill Yasuo.
Yep, and as big as Yasuo is, you'll note here that they're still down nearly 4,000 in gold. You know, as big as the Yasuo is, there's still that discrepancy between the farms over on the top side and between the ADCs here.
Yep, absolutely. And honestly, looking at itemizations, I can't say I like this Yasuo build. This is a Zeal into double longsword, which means he's building into a PD. However, you know, you're the most fed member on your team. You need a power spike as fast as possible. So I really would have loved to see him build that IE just for the extra damage and the extra spike into the mid game here.
What do you think the thought process behind getting that PD instead of the IE right away?
I think it's kind of just autopilot. If you go to the recommended section of the store, PD is the second recommended item to buy on Yasuo. I'm not saying it's a horrible buy. I'm just saying that in the current state of the game, where you're down so much gold and you are the most fed member on your team, perhaps a IE within what, like 2 or 3 minutes at 20 minutes time, you'll spike a lot harder, because it does give you the 100% crit, and it also gives you plus 35% damage on all the crits that you have. So essentially you're doing 35% extra damage with the added attack damage on IE.
I hear ya. And so for anybody just tuning in, we are on the third game between the matchup between Charlie and the Pentakill Factory and Team Rocket. Charlie attempting to prove his namesake and put the team on his back for this final game to avoid another 3-0 sweep. And as we see Team Rocket getting the Rift Herald yet again.
Yeah, this is a massive pressure from Team Rocket. Double Rift Herald means it's going to be essentially another turret lost. And I think that's kind of a recurring theme that we've been seeing here between these two teams. Charlie and the Pentakill Factory can get the kills. They're up in kills, but turret-wise, they're down 3 turrets. All their outers gone.
We saw this last game as well. You know, no turrets going down for the side of Team Rocket, and really, it feels like they know that Charlie's going to get his, so they kind of just let that happen and play around it, which is a really great strategy from Team Rocket.
Yeah, and the 4K gold lead, 3K of that is just from turrets, right? Like, you get the place and the turret, and that's just killing the turret is 1K gold. So, you know, if Charlie and the Pentakill Factory can take the 3 standing turrets, then, you know, this, as we okay, so there's more action. Another great catch.
Nayoshi going down quickly. Meta Awesome caught in between 3 members of Charlie and the Pentakill Factory. Charlie is looking for blood. Just missed the death sentence, and a great knock up by Cucumber there. Charlie is caught in Irelia's ulti and goes down to Irelia. It looks like Lucian, Ziggs, and Irelia are going to continue to chase. Irelia takes down the Thresh for a double kill, and CeeLo B making quick work of Jolly Boy.
Yeah, so the Aphelios there, not having great team fighting guns. So we kind of touched base on this earlier while we see Irelia just whacking down this turret. I think, yeah, Aphelios has 4 guns. His purple gun is root. So if he hits you and he presses Q, you're rooted. His white gun is his like huge DPS gun. His Q basically allows him to put down like a little turret. His green gun is his long-range sniper rifle. He gets extra range, and when he presses Q, he like shoots just basically a skill shot, and which allow him to auto whoever he hits, as we see Shorty almost getting caught out by Hercules there. And finally, his I think his red gun is his lifesteal gun. Every auto he just lifesteals, gets extra lifesteal. And there's a lot of intricacies to Aphelios that I can not talk to you about. But you know, this champion can definitely carry if he can get to the late game. So let's see if Jolly Boy is able to pilot that correctly.
And we saw just moments ago that Team Rocket takes down the Dragon, and Nayoshi and CeeLo B coming at Nasus and punishing him for continuing to push without that first tier turret anymore. Shorty engaging on a 1v2
1v2.
Picks up that Lucian ult.
Did he forget that Master Yi was right there?
Seems like he thought that his team was a little bit closer than he had anticipated there.
Certainly is, and Silas with only that Everfrost here, not very tanky, so you got to really pick when to go in, as we see Charlie going in on 3 members, but just scares them off, actually. They take their blue and just run. So 22.5 minutes into the game, around 6.5k gold lead to Team Rocket. Oof. And it's really starting to show in these items, you know? Lucian versus Aphelios. Lucian has that Essence Reaver as opposed to the Crit Cloak from Aphelios. I think the mid lane is the only one that's really even, with Yasuo's Phantom Dancer and Immortal Shield Bow almost completing that Infinity Edge, I believe probably just around 1k shy. So he'll be completing that within, a couple of minutes. And between the junglers, pretty even. So it's really just top lane and ADC discrepancies right now.
Yep, and we're seeing that pressure continuing from Team Rocket. They still have tons of vision on the side of the Pentakill Factory here. Great knockup by Chale, and able to ult and send Ziggs back to the fountain there before Meta Awesome could join the fight and make an impact.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm ever gonna say this, but this Braum is actually starting to become a problem. Just look how tanky he is. Like, Charlie, I mean, didn't really try to hit him, but, if the Braum can come up and just try to 1v1 you, then I think that's really saying something about the state of the game.
Yeah, and we'll see Irelia here making her way towards Jolly Boy's Aphelios. See if she's gonna get brave here and engage on this 2v1 with Braum nearby. Not sure if they see the Yasuo and Silas nearby as well.
Yeah, honestly, I think Irelia can 1v2 that. She definitely can. I just want to see if Hercules is just gonna go for it. But he does have a 200 gold bounty, so, taking the state of the game in, maybe going in 1v2 isn't the best idea, but knowing Irelia, definitely possible. And there we have it, the completed Infinity Edge for Yasuo. Yasuo is huge now. Now, can you imagine if, Mother Duck is Malphite? They group up, Malphite ults in. If you can get like a 2 or 3 man stun, this Yasuo is gonna absolutely shred the other team.
Yep. I think they definitely needed to find more synergy in their picks for this game.
Yeah, absolutely. But hey, don't take anything away from Charlie. He's gotten quite a few solo kills, and we see Shorty getting caught out.
Absolutely, and Shorty is done, and Chale is having to fight a 4v1.
Oh, and he turns it around. But unfortunately, the Braum's passive stuns him up, and he's just unable to get anywhere. Disappointing, actually. Unfortunate. Maybe a QSS in the future, but yes.
They'll set their sights towards the dragon here for Soul Point. And so funny that you mentioned that Cloud Soul, in the past 3 games here. Who do you think that cooldown reduction benefits the most?
Okay, so Cloud Soul gives you movement speed when you cast your ult in addition to cooldown reduction to your ulti. So honestly, I think it benefits. I'd have to give it to Team Rocket's Master Yi. When you ult, you're just zooming. You're like a singed at that point, just running people down. Yasuo, I mean, Chale being one of the premier players, as we see Shorty engaging again on the Ziggs.
Oh, making quick work on the Ziggs there.
absolutely melt him. This is a extremely potent combo. Yeah, as I was saying, you know, Yasuo can't really make use of a Cloud Soul. Shorty actually might use it pretty well himself, but most of the champions on Charlie and the Pensacola Factory kind of stand still when they ult. Not many runners. As we see Naoshi stealing away the blue. This blue buff I don't think has gone to CPF in the past 10 to 15 minutes, really. So, you know, kudos to Team Rocket to keep tabs on the enemy jungle and just go in and nab the objectives.
Yep, they did that last game, and really, especially on the top side, they get their lead there and really make sure that the pressure's on. And Shorty gets caught by the Ziggs ult, goes down really quickly, and Chale finds himself yet again under in a 3v1 and is able to take down the Lucian, takes down the Braum, and goes down ultimately to the Master Yi there. Triple kill goes over to Yoshi's Master Yi.
Yeah, and it's a, what was that, a 3v3?
Yep.
3v4 actually. Irelia was the only one not there, and they came out 3 for 2. Not something you really want to see, but given the circumstances, it really can't be helped, given that Thresh and Nasus were not there.
Yep, and we'll see that Chale has one slot left for an item. So he's going to be at full build pretty soon. So if they want to make that turn, it's going to have to be soon.
Yeah, and what item do you think he's going to go for? What do you want to see him buy?
I would say the blood. Oh, he has a Bloodthirster. Looks like he's going to go for a Guardian Angel, which I think is going to be a smart choice, because, you know, having him in those fights as long as possible, and, you know, we know that they're going to target him, so giving him an additional opportunity to get back into the fight, I think it's going to be a smart pickup for Chale there.
Yeah, I completely agree. Actually, I'm not a huge fan of the Phantom Dancer, as I've probably said previously. I really want to see him pick up a QSS because he's really just getting blown up because of the CC from Braum. That, like, the Braum auto into 4 stacks of into 3 other autos essentially is just so easy to come by when you're in a team fight, and you're gonna get stunned. And Yasuo's worst enemy is CC, as we see Team Rocket coming into this Baron pit, starting to Baron off, and they just melt it and it's gone.
Yeah, really no answer there from the Pentakill Factory.
Yeah, a little lax there in their warding, I believe.
And the dragon is soon to come up with Irelia already on the side of the Pentakill Factory, clearing wards and putting down wards to make sure that they're going to secure this and really try to end the game.
Yeah, and we see Irelia going there.
Ult there by Irelia, and he is caught out. Maybe stayed a little too long there, and is not able to take down Jolly Boy with him. Jolly Boy flashes out. Great flash there to keep that 5v4 advantage as the dragon spawns.
Yeah, a great pick onto Irelia, kind of just not realizing where the rest of the CPF was near and can collapse really easily. But even without Irelia, it seems to be a 4v4 with Nasus pushing top lane.
So this dragon fight is underway. It looks like Shorty took a good deal of damage there early. And a Braum ult coming out and knocking Thresh, but not a lot of follow-up from Team Rocket there. But there's enough damage, and Shorty
absolutely
is so close to dying here.
Yeah, and I think he has the Braum ult. Oh, he just couldn't
quite steal the dragon there after taking too much damage before really the biggest part of that fight. And Hercules here punishing Oyolicious for split pushing the entire time, and it looks like he's gonna chase him down for this kill.
Yeah, and Irelia is one of those champions where you don't want to chase
like where you don't really want to run towards your minions because she can use that as a gap closer. Very similar to Yasuo in that respect. But we just see Oilicious just going down. "32 minutes in and about a 7k gold lead. With Baron, I'm pretty sure this is gonna turn into a much bigger gold lead as we see a 2-man stun from the Irelia into the ulti, into just destroying Shorty. Chale trying to do his best to kite, but ultimately cannot kill the Irelia.
And Mother Duck goes down, even under turret there. And that is 4 down on the side of Charlie and the Pentakill Factory, with Nasus actually spawning. So it's going to be up to the Nasus and Jolly Boys Aphelios. Nasus try to fight the 4 and quickly gets turned around, and Aphelios just dashed into by the Irelia, and that's all, folks.
That's all she wrote. I mean, you know, Chale had the stopwatch, didn't ult that last play. Just very unfortunate because he just couldn't have the opportunity. There was just no knockups. And, you know, if you're 12-6 Yasuo can't ulti, that's a lot of his damage lost. So something to consider next time for CPF. Maybe if you're going to draft the Yasuo, to definitely get a Malphite or a Gragas or something in there that you can just pop other people up and then have an easier time for your Yasuo to ult.
Yep, that's kind of what we suspected in the beginning of this. Although Chale had an impressive game, you know, without any external knockups, he can only do so much, and we saw that in this game. So,
yeah,
congratulations to Team Rocket with a 3-0 sweep tonight.
Yeah, with that 3-0 sweep, that actually puts them in first place, which sets up the stage for a really awesome last regular season game next week between Joe Mama and Team Rocket, right? Joe Mama has 7 wins right now, and Team Rocket, I believe, with the 3 victories, will have 8. And so this will be the battle for first place. You know, couldn't have scripted that any better. So I'm looking forward to that Tuesday night matchup next week. Now, Charlie and the Pentakill Factory does still have a slim chance to catch SFC Telcom T1 for 3rd place, but it's going to be an uphill battle, right? Hopefully, they'll get their one of their players back, Neozone. That would really help them. But I think they would need to do a 3-0 sweep next week to even have a chance for that 3rd slot. But congratulations, Team Rocket. Let's see if we can have somebody to join us for an interview. I believe Meta Awesome will be joining us here. So we welcome here on stream Meta Awesome. Congratulations on the 3-0 victory there. How do you guys feel?
Everyone's actually really exhausted right now. Camera's usually not working. The face behind the madness. I don't know if it's loading or not.
It's loading.
I bet you that was exhausting. Those were 3 hard-fought battles, but you know, you guys came up on top every single time. You know, every time I look at the gold count, you guys were ahead every, you know, for all 3 games. But you know, as the game went on, it just became more significant. You know, what contributed to that?
I think the most of it was like, as our whole team was saying, it was mainly the comms, like us, like being where we need to be, helping out each other when one of us get in like a weird spot, and it's like pulling up from that. Yeah.
Waka, do we have any questions here for Sir Meta Awesome himself?
Yeah, so congrats on the win, first of all. So when I was scouting you out, I saw that you were a Lulu, not one trick, but you're a Lulu fanatic. I think these last 3 games, they didn't really ban out your Lulu. So what's the thought process behind, I'm not going to play Lulu, I'm going to play something like a Braum or like a, you know, something tanky, as opposed to your usual like support, like more what's the word? Squishy supports.
So I think you Might need to do more research next time. I'm not I've really been. I'm more of a tanky support player actually. The Lulu, the Bard, Zillion, whatever. Those things are like when I can see that it's mainly team comp actually. So obviously, if the top laner, the jungler, if they're big, like the Garen obviously, and other things, then yeah, I'm gonna pick up. I'm free to pick like a squishy support, a more enchanter person. But obviously, if it's like Irelia Yi, then I'm forced to pick a tank so I can peel for those guys or just be a menace. It's like the main thing is hard CC, just to lock down good amounts of people before they get to my team. Wow, the camera's really not working.
So Keelan, do you have any questions here for Meta Awesome? A little bit of anything to provoke him for your really key game next week?
Absolutely not. This is Meta Awesome's second time being player of the night, I believe. So I have nothing to say that's gonna provoke the man. But great job throughout the night. I saw CeeLo B was doing great as well. What was that communication between the two of you like?
Honestly, it didn't really change. Majority of our bot lane was just okay, shove, push, freeze, shove, and then that's it. And then once in a while, Matt's gonna be like somewhere in the jungle. I'm like, okay, I gotta help him out. When we just all rotate to help him, or the mid laner's from me, so we just go back. Like we can't do anything without comms, obviously. Like the wards on the map, the people saying, "Oh, my laner's missing," or all that stuff. It's a team effort. Kim, Kirk, Matt, they all did their part as well. It looks like it's just the bot lane, but these guys are, while they're like, okay, they're doing their best in lane. Like they're also telling us what's happening, and that's what really matters.
Any final words here to Team Joe Mama, who you'll face for a battle for first place here at Meta Awesome?
I don't have any cool one-liners, nor do I have my face showing, so it's kind of anticlimactic. But,
well, put that in quotes. I don't have any cool one-liners.
No cool one-liners. Sorry.
All right. Well, congratulations again. Thanks for coming on, and we look forward to your game next week.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so this was a one-sided night, but it was still, there were really entertaining games. Enjoyed all of the games. We do have some promotional thing that we're gonna be doing next week. For the viewers, you will have a chance to win a $25 Amazon gift card next week on Monday. So you'll need to tune in right at 7 p.m. to get more details, because otherwise you'll miss out on that. Alright, but if you have not already done so, make sure you register, have a Trovo account, and that way you can follow this channel and you'll be reminded to tune in at 7 p.m. and you'll get the details to be able to win that $25 gift card from Amazon. So do so now if you haven't done so. And I want to thank Waka Waka here and Keyline, our commissioner, doing an excellent job as always casting these games. Any parting words there, Waka Waka?
No, just thank you everyone for watching and thanks for having me, Steph.
Alright, Keyline, any final words, shoutouts? I think your mic is muted again.
Oh, technology too. Keyline 0. But yeah, just wanted to echo that. Thanks everyone for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to be casting with you all, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, and we want to thank Sidestorm Gaming again for helping us produce these games. There's KJ Freedom right there. Thanks. And with that, we'll see you guys next week. Good games.